around the football clubs, and Smithy brings to mind straight away. But I just think with Neto, he gives me heart attacks sometimes. I honestly, with some of the passes he plays out as an ex-player, I don't think I would have even tried them.
There was one against Liverpool where it was like Ederson or Alisson, where he was almost on the goal line, passing it sideways past someone, where I must admit even my heart jumped a beat, Willow, and yours jumped 10.
Well, honestly, they jumps a beat, and we're not even on the pitch, I'm scared stiff.
Very close to kick-off here at the Vitality Stadium. The floodlights are flashing on and off. We're being treated to a bit of a light show. Willow, just on the game itself tonight, we've been talking about everything else that's going on for Bournemouth. We should focus on the FA Cup tie as well, of course. They've beaten Swansea once already in the League Cup. This was a really favourable draw for Bournemouth. He's gone strong. He's showing his intent. He thinks there's a real chance of a cup run, and he's a manager with experience of taking underdogs far in cup competitions in Spain.
Yeah, listen, I think it's the right thing to do, isn't it? I think everything's the way the two defeats have come along have not been massively hateful towards us. I think we've done enough, and we're a bit unfortunate, especially against Liverpool. But I just think here tonight, the FA Cup is special. I mean, I woke up this morning, I knew it was a special day, and I just feel that once the game gets going, the crowd will get behind us, and it's there to be won for us. There's no doubt about that.
I've got to admit, the light shows focused me, because I was getting LDV Vans trophy vibes this evening, because the car park was empty when we got here. Swansea have only bought a small allocation in the corner, but the FA Cup is on us. The first tie of the round, and the teams are coming out.
Yeah, here they come out to the pitch. So before we hand you to your commentators tonight, let me just remind you of that breaking news in Bournemouth this evening. Not too far away from here, down the road in Lansdowne, earlier on in around about 3 o'clock, emergency services were called. 5 people have been taken to hospital, we're hearing tonight, amid what was described as a large emergency service response to a disturbance in Bournemouth. South Western Ambulance Service said 5 people taken to hospital, 1 airlifted to Southampton General with serious but not life-threatening injuries. 3 people have been arrested. A little bit more on that for you now. 2 people arrested on suspicion of wounding with intent. A 3rd person arrested on suspicion of assault by beating. And there is a cordon that is still in place around the area, which was Merrick Road in Lansdowne, and police carrying out reassurance patrols tonight. So that latest for you can find out more on the BBC News website. Right, ready for kick-off here at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth against Swansea in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Live on all BBC Radio Solent frequencies. It is on BBC Sounds, on the app, on your smartphones, your tablets. It's on your smart speaker if you ask it to play BBC Radio Solent. And we're right across the UK on 5 Live Sports Extra as well tonight. Your commentary team here in Dorset, the former Bournemouth defender John Williams, is alongside Chris Temple.
Thank you, Jordan. England against Wales to kick off the Emirates FA Cup 4th round for a place in the last 16. And from Bournemouth's point of view, a home tie against lower league opposition is about all you can ask for when those balls are drawn out of the hat. And of course, for Swansea, the 2nd time that's coming up against the Cherries in cup competitions this season. The Cherries put Swans out of the Carabao Cup earlier on. This time, it's the FA Cup that Bournemouth have an eye on, the last 16 place. Commentary, of course, on the BBC Radio Solent of every Cherries game, home and away, in all competitions. And we're standing by for this one as the Cherries come into their huddle. Swansea in their all-white colours. 5 changes to the Cherries team from that which lost here to Liverpool at the weekend. In come Travers, Senesi, Kelly, Scott and Brooks to the 11. Travers in goal, Hill, Zabani, Senesi and Kelly the defenders. Cook and Christie the 2 central midfielders. Brooks, Scott and Sinistera. And then Solanke, the Cherries play their top scorer in the FA Cup, despite usually rotating him out. The substitutes bench for the Cherries sees the return of Antoine Semenyo after Ghana's early exit from the Africa Cup of Nations. Also back among the substitutes, Milos Kerkez after injury. The rest of the bench is Kilkenny, Mepham, Clivert, Tavernier, Kiefer Moore, young Dom Sadie and goalkeeper Andre Radu. Our officials this evening are in blue shirts, and for an England against Wales contest, the referee is Darren England, which feels a bit biased, Willow. He's jogging across. He was the referee, by the way, who missed Ivan Toney moving the ball to the right of the wall.
No, VAR did.
Well, they all did. So we're standing by for kick-off. Cherries, red and black stripes. I'll give you the Swansea team in a second. Black shorts and black socks. Swansea all in white. As I say, officials are in blue. It's been raining, some steady drizzle for about the last couple of hours or so here.
It's a great night for football.
Thursday night on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Sounds and BBC Radio 5 Live. Sports Extra, an early contest between James Hill on this near side and Liam Cullen. Looks like he's playing as a left wing back for Swansea. Look like they've lined up with a 5. Cullen is more of a striker, so we'll wait and see. Humphreys on the left-hand side, the youngster on loan from Chelsea. And Swansea just defended by their own corner flag at the moment, and they've cleared it away up towards the halfway line where Kelly is there, and it's bouncing around in the centre circle and picked up by Jay Fulton, who just calms things down for Swansea. And now with Nathan Wood, who's one of not exactly a large number of players out on the field with short sleeve shirts on in these rather windy and wet conditions this evening, and it goes back to Andy Fisher in the goal away to our right for Swansea, all in orange. Down this near side from Humphreys, where Hill is very quickly up on Cullen, but nice play down the left-hand side to release Grimes over halfway. Early ball in behind, and that was a very important interception by Zabani, because Jerry Yates might have been through behind him on the edge of the penalty area. Zabani has it now, right corner of his own penalty area. Still can't quite clear, Yates giving him a problem. Now Zabani trying to dribble it out. Lofts it to Christie, his header goes astray. Comes to the right-hand side, play forward by Ashby into the Yates on the edge of the penalty area, turning into trouble, and then eventually knocked back by Zabani to his goalkeeper Mark Travers.
Why didn't he go back to the goalkeeper in the first place? That was a strange one.
It was a busy first 90 seconds before we could get John Williams, the former Cherries and Cardiff City defender, for anyone listening in from a Welsh perspective this evening. Give you the Swansea team when the ball goes out of play, I promise. They've got it at the back at the moment with Jay Fulton in midfield, firing it around. So it does look like they're playing with Wood and Humphreys as the two centre halves. Just trying to work out over on the right hand side. Norton is in the back line as well. Exactly how they're lining up. We were getting Ewan Roberts, the former Welsh international striker, from our colleagues from BBC Radio Wales, to give us an idea on the formation for Swansea, and he couldn't really work it out because Luke Williams, their manager, is still experimenting after coming in to take over from Michael Duff. And it's cleared away by the Cherries and Senesi up over the halfway line from left to right. 0-0, 2 minutes gone. And Sinistera chasing on down the far side of the penalty area. Back it goes to Fisher, the goalkeeper. Cleared away on that right side by Fulton, but out for a throw-in. Taken quickly by the Cherries, level with the edge of the Swansea penalty area, and then given away by Sinistera, who's got a bit of the similar giveaway-itis that he had on Sunday.
Swansea look like a team who are trying to play out, but they're not totally convinced it's the right way to play.
Well, they've been talking to our colleagues from the Welsh media. They're trying to get the Swansea way back under Luke Williams. They felt like they lost their way a little bit under Michael Duff. They got absolutely hammered by Southampton in the first half of the weekend. 3-1 at half-time. I mean, it could have been 6, couldn't it, at half-time?
Should have been. Yeah, most definitely.
Worth pointing out, by the way, the Cherries striker Jamal Lowe, who's Swansea's top scorer this season with 6 goals. Wouldn't have been available this evening anyway against his parent club, but he's out with an injury picked up in that Southampton game. Might be out for 3 or 4 weeks. Solanke for the Cherries. Now Alex Scott, halfway inside the Swansea half. Near side the right for Bournemouth, and the captain for the night, David Brooks, still another of their Welsh international contingent. Brooks turns back and comes out to this right-hand side, and James Hill, who is playing at right-back, down the right side of the penalty area for Scott, who holds it up on this near touchline, then cannons it off Bashir Humphreys and out for a throw-in. Quickly give you that Swansea team. Fisher in goal, Norton, Wood, Humphreys and Ashby, Fulton, Joe Allen and Grimes, and then Cullen and Patino either side of Jerry Yates. Their bench: Rushworth, Darling, Pedersen, Patterson, Ogbeta, Balassi, Cooper, Lissa and also Maharovic. Ball on this right-hand side with James Hill, who launches in one of those long throws, which we've seen right from the start here.
Yeah.
Didn't really beat the first white shirt and cleared away by Swansea, and it's back to Marcos Senesi towards the halfway line.
Seem to go in and out of fashion, long throws.
Cherries very rarely use it. Sinistera picks it up, no flag on the far side as Sinistera drives towards the byline, slides in with a challenge to win it back because it was dispossessed off him. Now it's back to the left side of the penalty area, and Kelly stood into the penalty area by Christie, flashes through a crowd of white shirts. Solanke will pick this up loose around about the penalty spot, trying to get a shot away. Good block came in. Swansea still haven't got it clear. Alex Scott driving out to the left side of the penalty area. Cherries still have it. Kelly and Scott down the left side of the box, the two former Bristol City players. Great ball into the 6-yard box, headed away by Kyle Norton and out for a Cherries corner.
Yeah, he did well there, Norton. He wasn't sure whether he could leave it for the goalkeeper, but played safe and just knocked it out for the corner.
4.5 minutes gone on BBC Radio Solent, BBC Sounds and 5 Live Sports Extra. Nearly 5 minutes, as we say, and no goals on the scoreboard as yet. Cherries corner. Far side, the left, to be taken by Alex Scott. In towards the near post, Lloyd Kelly slipped over, I think, and actually in slipping over, brought down Kyle Norton accidentally, and it's going to be a free kick to Swansea on the edge of their own penalty area.
Yeah, definitely a set play that went wrong there. Kelly, I think it was, who tried to get involved on that near post, but ended up on the deck.
So this is the first of the ties across this competition, the 16 ties for a place in the last 16. The fifth round takes place at the end of February. That's given away by Swansea. Sinistera was pulled back there by Nathan Wood, who is going to earn a yellow card for that, actually, because that was a cynical pullback out of position. He knew Sinistera was away from him, and with 5.5 minutes on the clock, Nathan Wood, playing on the right side of the Swansea defence, is booked.
I thought he could have gone on there. I know he's got, the lad's got booked in that, but...
Well, interestingly, if he had gone on there, I don't think Wood would have got booked, because the rules say if you're sort of cynically trying to stop an attack and play an advantage of play, you can't go back and caution somebody.
I'd rather have a chance at goal than a booking.
Well, you got both now, because there's a free kick out on the left-hand side. Brooks to take it, Wood in the book, and Darren England, the referee, just sorting out a bit of pushing and pulling right on the edge of the D as the Cherries spin off in different directions. It comes in from Brooks, stealing round the back is Lloyd Kelly, who slides it in. What a finish from Kelly, snuck in unseen at the back post to hammer it with his left foot into the roof of the net, and the Cherries strike early with the first goal of the Emirates FA Cup fourth round, 1-0.
Yeah, well, what a finish. It was a fantastic ball, but the Swansea City defending absolutely shockable. It was they had an absolute nightmare. There's so many conversations going on, people looking at one another. How does somebody who's 6'2", 6'3" end up on the far post with nobody 10 yards around him?
Lloyd Kelly hasn't scored since October 2021. So that is over 2 years since his last goal. He's now scored 3 goals in more than 4 years, Lloyd Kelly.
Good average, isn't it?
That's a great average. Attacking left back. You're trying to tell me he's a centre half. He's an attacking left back, John. He scores for fun. 1-0. Lloyd Kelly enjoyed that as well. Back in the team. First start after injury. Came running over to this near side. A lot of the players' families sit down to our right as well. So I don't know if some of his family members are down in that corner where we ran to celebrate. What a start for the Cherries in their first set piece. You're right about the defending, but good delivery from Brooks.
Oh, magnificent. But just absolutely shocking defending, but great finish, and that's the main thing.
And that'll give David Brooks some confidence. We spoke about the fact that's a big night for him as well. Well, that's a free kick delivered. There was definitely a plan there. There were people moving all over the place as Swansea play a long ball towards the back post, which is overhit and beyond James Hill and through for a Cherries goal kick. But watching the movement, you've been part of those, Willow, where you start in a line and then people literally peeling off in all sorts of directions.
It's almost impossible. I can see why zonal marking is now more important than it was back in our day, but yeah, I mean, it was a great spin, great set play, well worked.
Remember the days when the Cherries not only couldn't stop set pieces going in at one end, but they also couldn't score from them at the other. It wasn't that long ago. Now they score from them at will. Sometimes with Alex Scott at the helm, but this time it was David Brooks, and here is the aforementioned Scott out to David Brooks, right corner of the penalty area. Cherries on a high here with David Brooks swinging across in. That's blocked out on this near side by Patino, the Arsenal loanee, and it goes out for a throw in 20 yards from the Swansea goal.
We've really got them at it here. We had 3 there on the end of that cross if it came in.
Throw in taken down the right side of the box. Christian Hill working hard to close it down. Swansea have released it up towards Joe Allen, the former Welsh international, now retired, as Scott over to the far side, and Lloyd Kelly, he's not going to shoot from 35 yards, is he? I thought he was for a second. Out to the left hand side it goes, and Sinistera. Cherries forced back towards the halfway line. Just want Cherries won 3-2 in the League Cup in August, and we should mention have started cup games this season very poorly, but have started this one well. Brooks down the right hand side, getting away from Humphreys easily. David Brooks tees it up, and Alex Scott makes it 2. 2 assists for David Brooks. What a first 10 minutes for him. Teed up Scott, who couldn't miss inside the 6-yard box. And forget about those terrible first halves in cup competitions this season. Bournemouth have started this one on fire.
Well, that was a really coolly taken goal. Brooksy, as you say, I wondered if he was going to race him, and that's exactly what he did. Took it on the inside, just picked out Scott, and he did his bit.
Just watching a replay there to make sure there's no offside problems, because there is VAR in this tie. because there wasn't in the previous round at QPR, but on Premier League grounds there is VAR. Paul Tierney is the VAR, who was the same VAR.
It's Brooksy they're looking at
here on Sunday, who didn't think that Justin Kluivert had a case to answer. I haven't seen from the replay we saw, but it didn't look like there was a problem, but the game is just being held for a second while they check that offside on David Brooks, as the initial ball was played down the right hand side before he crossed it.
He's well onside. I've just gone through it again. He's well onside.
He's well onside, is he?
Yeah.
So he's so far onside they're still checking it, yeah?
I'm telling you, I haven't seen the run.
Okay, well the referee's walking back ominously towards the Swansea half of the field. We're seeing a pretty grainy image, I've got to say, of David Brooks. There's some lines coming into the system now. I think he might be in advance of him, Willow. I think he's offside. I think he's leaning offside. As we look, he's leaning to his left at these pictures. We're looking from behind David Brooks, and I think he might be just beyond Bashir Humphreys, who's at left back. So this would be a real shame if the Cherries' lead got halved here, but very hard to tell from a grainy image. Certainly when they're
offside.
Okay, well, you're saying he's definitely onside. I'm saying that VAR think this is close enough to be still looking after a minute. We need some lines. We're just seeing grainy images. We need someone to put some lines on. We're now seeing a camera shot of the VAR looking. Paul Tierney is the VAR. There's no point in us seeing a camera shot, and he is onside. So John Williams gets the nod. The green. Oh, wait a minute. They showed a green line that said onside, and now they're running through it again. Let's just check. VAR aren't having a great look at this. We just definitely saw a green line on the word onside, but then it disappeared after about 2 seconds. What they're looking at now, they're now showing the goal from side on, level with the goal line, and the goal is given.
Of course it's given.
I was absolutely conflicted there because I wanted Bournemouth to be 2-0 up, but I would have loved you to have been completely wrong.
Because listen, they made a living out of catching people offside.
But not when they were leaning
yes,
offside. Anyway, good news, 2-0. Also, I haven't got any Tipex, so that would have caused problems with my notes as well if I had to cross that out. So Bournemouth 2, Swansea 0. If you're just joining us, Alex Scott's goal does stand, and of course he had one ruled out at Tottenham by VAR when he scored that header late in the game at Tottenham. So good news for him that he isn't denied another Bournemouth goal, having scored one in that game. David Brooks, I think I said before kick-off, he was out of form. What a 10 minutes, 2 assists. 2-0. Swansea fans are singing I Want to Go Home. It's a fair old trek on a Thursday night, 300-mile round trip or so. 7 hours, it was saying on the map when I had a look at the route, as Ilya Zabani plays it to Lewis Cook on the edge of the Cherries penalty area, down this right-hand side. Now James Hill, near side the right, little step over from Scott. Brooks is firing, he tried a little flick there as well out of play off Humphreys.
It would have been sweet that if he'd just got a connection on it.
You've been there, Willow, I'm sure, when those kind of flair players, that's a big lump down the field from Senesi. I'll come back to that in a second as Christie picks it up on the halfway line. 2-0 to Bournemouth. BBC Radio Solent, BBC Sounds, 5 Live Sports Extra. Of course, Southampton play at Watford in the FA Cup. That one is on Sunday afternoon. We'll have commentary of that one. All championship tie. 5 Premier League teams already out. 5 more guaranteed to go out in this round. And 6 EFL teams guaranteed to be in the last 16 as well. The ball is back with Humphreys on this near touchline. And now with Kyle Norton down the line. Brooks sliding in with a tackle this time and knocking it out of play for a Swansea throw-in.
What's the referee giving here?
It's a throw-in on the halfway line, I think. Just to say, by the way, that keep your eye on the BBC website if you're in the Bournemouth area for news of that breaking incident, the police incident earlier on with the cord. It's only about a mile actually from here at the Vitality Stadium with multiple stabbings. Given away by the goalkeeper. Alex Scott for the Cherries picks it up. Poor clearance by Fisher, and here's Sinistera in on his right foot. He shoots low, and that is 3-0. The velvet bag looms for the Cherries for round 5 after only 14 minutes. Disaster for the keeper, Fisher this time. Terrible clearance. Sinistera strokes it home. It's Bournemouth 3, Swansea 0.
Didn't you mention Sinistera not doing so well before the game as well? You keep picking them out, they keep scoring.
I think they were the 2 players I said were really playing for their places, Brooks and Sinistera. Good finish, terrible goalkeeping.
I'm not sure he could have got too close to it, really.
Well, he gave it away, though.
I know he gave it away, but I don't think he could have saved it.
Fisher, the goalkeeper, has passed it straight to Alex Scott, 20 yards out. He's knocked it to the left. Sinistera's chopped in. He's finished through the legs of Nathan Wood.
Kills them every time, the goalkeeper.
3-0. 3 different goal scorers. What a start. Kelly, Scott, Sinistera. If you're late joining us, not even 8 o'clock on a Thursday night.
Who else have you slagged off? Just
Yeah,
tell
I'm
me
just
so
having
we
a
can...
look. Slagged off's hard words, John.
Not slagged off, just...
No. I would really like Ilya Zabani to score his first Bournemouth goal in this game.
We'll have a look.
Scott flicks it in field. Now Grimes on the halfway line for Swansea, who have, it's not reminiscent of the Southampton game, because Southampton were 3-1 up at half-time, not 3-0 up after 14 minutes.
He's been booked, that lad, hasn't he?
No, it's not him. Over on the halfway line, it's a foul by Harrison Ashby, who's the son of the former Gillingham defender Barry Ashby. He's on loan from Newcastle. Eddie Howe signed him from West Ham, actually, Harrison Ashby, and he's been loaned out to Swansea. He's over on the right side.
Cool name, isn't it?
3-0 to the Cherries. Now Hill down this right-hand side. Brooks with a step over this time, but Scott wasn't on the same wavelength, and it's back with Humphreys in the left-back position for the Swans, who haven't been past the 4th round in the last 3 seasons. They don't look like they're going past the 4th round this evening, as it's back to Fisher, who gets a few oohs and ahs, the goalkeeper in orange, as this time it's flicked on down the left-hand side. An opportunity for Cullen to chase, but across comes Zabani to clear it away.
Have you got the goalkeeper there?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
All of a sudden I'm getting brave when he's on the ball.
Humphreys has it now into the centre of midfield, and Grimes once again, who's got a strong set piece on him, as Matt Grimes, long-serving Swansea midfielder. Now out to this left-hand side. Patino finds a gap here for the aforementioned Grimes. Edge of the penalty, into the box it comes. Kelly clears, only as far as Cullen, and his shot driving towards goal is blocked by Zabani, who closed him down quickly, and out for a Swansea corner on the left.
Yeah, you have to admire Swansea for the way they've just passed the ball. They haven't changed anything. They've got it up the other end of the pitch and kept passing. Takes some doing that when you're 3-0 down.
Ball over on the far side, the near side I should say, the left-hand side for Swansea, and it's Patino who's going to deliver this corner from the left-hand side. North Stand almost stunned into silence at the moment, and that one is straight into the hands of the unchallenged goalkeeper Mark Travers.
Excellent take, wasn't it? I thought he'd jumped a bit too early, but all of a sudden his arms.
I'm almost going across the field ticking off people who've had confidence boosts. Brooks tick, Sinistera tick, Kelly scoring, well done, you're back. Travers good catch, tick. Yeah. People who are just settling into their rhythm, the game this evening.
Building performances, isn't it? That's what it is.
I wonder if the Cherries are 3-0 up at half-time, whether Dom Solanke reappears for the second half. Is the ball over the top looking for Brooks? Is overhit this time and through to Andy Fisher.
Well, I know where you're coming from, but Tom will want to get a goal before he goes off, I think.
Well, the Cherries have had to make half-time changes in all 3 cup games against Championship opposition this season. Swansea, Stoke and QPR, because the first halves have been very poor. So any criticisms they could have as that one's out of play underneath us. Humphreys of Swansea takes it out inside their own half. Certainly the message from Andoni Iraola after the first half performances in other cup games, that they all won in the end, but started really badly. I mean, this start is the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
Hill with the throw-in down this near side. Scott with a lovely turn away from Humphreys, but the ball is just away from him down this right-hand side. Humphreys back to Norton, who's under a bit of pressure from Scott, and the clearance strikes Scott, and then Solanke's pulled back by Norton, and the Cherries get a free kick, and that's a stupid one because the ball was going out of play anyway.
Does he get booked for that?
Referee England, I think, is going to look on that one sympathetically. Kyle Norton, maybe because Solanke wasn't breaking away down the right side, but it is a chance for David Brooks to come across and get himself on another set piece right at the box.
Hat-trick of assists.
Inside 20 minutes, that would be some going. So Brooks has it, and again, some going when you've got Alex Scott in the team who likes taking set pieces, and Brooks is on all of these. He is the captain this evening, David Brooks again, like he was at QPR. He has pulled rank. He's going to whip this one in towards the goal, isn't he? Looking at the length of his run up, which is run out towards the touchline. So 3-0 to Bournemouth, 19 minutes played here on the BBC across Solent Sounds and Sports Extra. In from Brooks towards the penalty spot where Senesi was coming in, and that one unfortunately is beyond everybody. Solanke apologises to Brooks. Maybe he hadn't made the run that Brooks was aiming for.
Yeah, that was similar to the Man United position for Senesi, where he got his head on it.
Just seen a shot in the stand, John, on our monitor of Nathan Dyer, the former Southampton and Swansea winger. And his son, I know for a fact, is in the academy here at Bournemouth, Nathan Dyer's son. Thinking like the under-9s or similar. The ball is over on the far side with Swansea playing it around inside their own half. They've given away a throw-in despite the fact that they felt it was theirs. And it's on the far side with Ryan Christie of the Cherries. Now down the line to Sinistera, the scorer of the Cherries third. Whipped in towards the box. Solanke might take this down. He gets a second opportunity. Dom Solanke tried to shift it onto his left. And then in the end, the white shirts managed to get back there and Norton knocked it back to his keeper.
Oh, he had quick feet there, Dominic, but didn't realise there was one behind him. Just come and nicked it back for Swansea.
I've got to say, Willow, I know it's stupid to say this at 3-0, but Swansea looked really porous at the back, didn't they?
Well, yeah. Most definitely 3-0 up.
Every time the Cherries come forward, there's somebody in space. It's a very open game, this one. Swansea is still coming forward with some purpose, as you'd expect them to do at 3-0 down, to try and get back in this, and have looked decent at times pinging the ball around. They've won a throw-in now on this near side, and Andoni Iraola very sportingly, the Bournemouth manager, walks to the advertising board, picks up the ball and hands it back to Bashir Humphreys, the Chelsea loanee, to take it on this near left side. Joining us late, 20 gone. Cherries scored after 7 minutes, 10 minutes and 14 minutes through Lloyd Kelly, Alex Scott and Lewis Sinistera. And here's Scott again down the right side of the box, and now David Brooks in behind, trying to chop it onto his left foot, squares it to the back post where it doesn't reach Sinistera, hammered away for Swansea by Ashby. Just wasn't quite the angle for Brooks to have a shot himself. Christie's robbed it back in midfield, but then Patino is there to win it back, and then one back again by Senesi for the Cherries around the centre circle.
They can't get a foothold, Swansea, can they?
They cannot. No, they beat Morecambe 2-0 in the previous round at home, did Swansea. Charlie Patino and Jerry Yates on target in that game. They've made 4 changes this evening from that Southampton defeat, so again a pretty strong team. Just talking again as the ball goes through to Fisher, the Swansea keeper. Talking to our colleagues, they said most of the apart from Kyle Norton, who hardly ever plays, most of the rest of the team is interchangeable, so they're not. This is not the reserves, but at the moment the scoreline looks like it is. David Moyes is here watching apparently from the main stand this evening, with the Cherries visiting the London Stadium, thanks to Paul, who tweeted us at Solent Sport with that information, which we haven't verified, but I presume, Paul, you haven't made it up. He's probably got a shot on the TV monitor of David Moyes as the ball out on this near side.
Great header. James
Hill with the header. He's put Alex Scott away down the right hand side, who's knocked it in. Too casual from Scott. He just had to roll it sideways and Solanke might have been in.
Oh, he was in.
Instead he overhit it through to the keeper, Alex Scott. Bournemouth. Sinistera's given away a free kick there for a foul on the far side on Joe Allen. 3-0 to Bournemouth, not even a quarter of the game play. 2 assists for David Brooks, 1 assist in the negative sense for the Swansea keeper Andy Fisher, who turned the ball, gave the ball straight to the Cherries, who then scored. But now Swansea have it on the right hand side. I promise you, at times you wouldn't know there is a crowd in, but there is. Because everyone's just sort of stunned that the game's probably won.
Well, it is. That's the immediate reaction, isn't it?
Over on the far side, the Cherries have it again, over the halfway line with Alex Scott. The Cherries just too classy at the moment, coming forward for Swansea. Sinistera down the left-hand side, 4 in the box. Alex Scott continues his run towards the near post, and Solanke, good clearance by Norton, who had to get there at the near post. And it's another Bournemouth corner, but again, that was the kind of progress down the left that's going to have the Swansea manager Luke Williams hopping.
Well, it is, but the fact is, when you're 3-0 up, them sort of things look easy. Swansea have got themselves in a pickle.
Alex Scott with the corner over on that far side. Someone showed me a great stat at the weekend that Bournemouth have only taken 1 out-swinging corner all season. Everything is an in-swinger. It's going to be Alex Scott this time, from a right footer over on that far side, a swinging in. Deep this time, coming around the back is Senesi, who can't quite keep it in. He nearly ends up in the south stand, as does the ball. Goal kick Swansea.
I find that hard to believe.
It's true.
Is it really?
One out swinging corner all season. It's from the official Opta stats. It's not someone scribbling it down on the back of a cigarette packet.
Well, you do pull them out sometimes.
I do sometimes. Luke Williams is on our monitor at the moment, just down in front of us as well. To say he looks slightly perturbed with the way his team have started this game would be fair, I think, as that one from Fisher not messing around this time after his clanger for the goal. And Brooks has knocked it round the corner to Lewis Cook, who we've hardly mentioned so far. And Cook plays it in behind, and he was nearly in again. Solanke. That was a really good stretch by Jay Fulton to get there and knock it out of harm's way. And now Cherries want to throw in underneath us.
Swansea, I think, everything that possibly can go wrong. We can't win a throw in. We can't get up the field.
Even there, they got a tackle and it bounced back off their own man, didn't it, and went out for a throw. And that's what you're referring to, Willow, down in front of us. John Williams, the former Cherries and Cardiff City defender, down underneath us. Alongside us here as the ball is down underneath us for a throw into the Cherries, near side the right. 3-0 they lead. We've played 24 minutes in the FA Cup 4th round. As Hill right side of the penalty area for the Cherries, then Scott turns away from Patino. It's another foul given away by the Arsenal loanee. Lewis Cook looking for a quick one. He tried to see the run of Patino. Interestingly, they've given a throw in there. Patino definitely wasn't 10 yards away, but Lewis Cook knew where he was and decided to take it anyway. He wasn't cannoning it off Patino, trying to get him booked. Patino was just in the way, and the referee said, I'm just going to let that go, because I think you had enough chance to take it fairly.
I agree.
Cherries give that one away. Scott down the right side of the box, up towards the halfway line, where Zabani easily wins the header, and then it's given away again by Patino. Cherries with Lewis Cook look for the quick one over the top. Goalkeeper's coming. It's just curving away from the penalty area. That was a real tormentor for Andy Fisher, because the ball was bouncing along the edge of the box but would never quite come in.
There's been 2 or 3 of them. If the pass had been more accurate, we were in 1-on-1.
So it's a free kick to Swansea on the edge of their own penalty area. 3-0 to Bournemouth. BBC Radio Solent, wherever you're listening across the UK as well via BBC Sounds. Maybe the live pictures are on BBC iPlayer, by the way, via our colleagues from S4C. If you're clever, you can get it on the iPlayer picture-wise and sync up our commentary via BBC Sounds. Maybe you've already done that. The ball is back with Mark Travers, the Cherries goalkeeper, away to our left-hand side. Cherries lost the last FA Cup meeting. In fact, they won it, sorry. The last FA Cup meeting was back in 2000. They won by 2-0. Wade Elliott, James Hayter, the scorers, as Bournemouth, a rare foray forward, breaking down on the far side as the Cherries clear it into what is a very rare black sheeting over the away section there. Normally get 1,400 fans across a couple of blocks opposite us, but Swansea on a Thursday night with the game on TV in Wales have only bought about 400 or 500, so half of their section is blacked out by sheeting. There's a line of orange jacketed stewards.
They made us laugh earlier on, the Swansea fans. After it went 3-0, they started singing "Shall We Go Home?"
Yeah, I want to go home, yeah. Ball out on this near side. A replay looks a long way off at the moment as well. Of course, in the 5th round, it's a midweek round of matches. I said that earlier, I think, at the end of the month, the end of February. As the ball is back with the Swansea keeper, Andy Fisher, away to our right. Very subdued atmosphere here, but in a positive way for Bournemouth, because the pre-match enthusiasm, the crowd are just thinking, well, we're disappointed Bournemouth haven't scored for 12 minutes.
Yep.
Cook up to the halfway line and Brooks for the Cherries. Lovely football. Brooks and Cook and now Christie, and now it's up to Senesi through the centre circle over to the left-hand side where Kelly knocks it down the line. Sinistera trying to take on Wood here. Sinistera checks back into his own third of the field, and it's now back on the halfway line with Ryan Christie, who lofts one over the top, and Lloyd Kelly is miles offside. And again, we talk about Kelly being a centre half, he doesn't want to get forward. He was left winger there, Kelly.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
He's got a goal. He's got a bit excited, Lloyd Kelly, making overlapping runs 10 yards offside. Jogs back to his position over on the far side at left back.
Can't say he's noted for them runs.
Not really. No, it's the first time I think I've ever seen Lloyd Kelly caught offside. Ball long punt down the field from Fisher, the goalkeeper. Landed on the head of Marcos Senesi, back in the Cherries team after his 1-game suspension for 5 Premier League yellows. Nice work from Lewis Cook, who just shrugged Patino off the ball way too easily from a Swansea point of view, and then he gives away a free kick, clipping the heels of the same player. 30 yards from goal, but level with the left edge of the penalty area for Swansea. 28 minutes played on the BBC. It is Bournemouth leading by 3-0 in this first tie of the 4th round. Which, in case you're wondering why it's being played this evening, it's played this evening because of the live coverage from S4C in Wales. Ties tomorrow night include Chelsea against Aston Villa, one of those that will see a top Premier League team go out. Bristol City playing Forest tomorrow night as well, among those ties. Tottenham Man City, probably the standout tie of the 4th round overall, as the ball is teed up by Matt Grimes here for Swansea with a left-footed ball, holds up his right hand as his team look to capitalise on a first real attacking set-piece opportunity for Grimes. Whipped in with his left foot deep to the back post. There were Cherries red shirts queuing up to head it clear. It was Senesi who got the contact on it, only as far as Ashby. He clips one back in towards the penalty spot. Cherries beaten in the air this time. It was Patino who was in there. Volley goalwards by Fulton, that was blocked, and then hammered goalwards by Norton. That's off the left-hand post. Mark Travers was beaten, comes back into the 6-yard box, and then Woods denied by Travers. Great reflex goalkeeping, and then Bashir hits it into the side netting. Bashir Humphreys, 3 opportunities. Mark Travers saved them the second time. The post saved them the first time.
Yeah, bit of defending to do. Not over yet. If they get one back, they'll feel they're in the running.
Well, that was again a scramble. Kept falling to white shirts. They couldn't quite find the crunching finish. From the left side comes the corner from Patino, running onto it with a free header, and good diving header clear inside his own penalty area there by James Hill. Sorry.
Yeah, it was brave. The corner.
Corner on the left to Swansea, trailing Bournemouth by 3-0. We've played nearly half an hour at the Vitality Stadium. Patino's corner from the left for Swansea, lands on the 6-yard line, went through everybody and runs out to the left side of the box where Lewis Cook will bring it away. Swansea got to play it down and out of the game at the moment. Wood jogging back towards defence. Lovely footwork by Lewis Cook away from Fulton, who made him look slightly silly there. Back it goes out to the far left-hand side where Christie swings one in, and Brooks has snuck round the back if he can get it under control, which he nearly can, and in the end he was just ever so slightly off balance, and the ball was bouncing up, skidding off the turf, and it's well wide from David Brooks.
Great move though. All started with Cook here, great bit of skill. Big switch. Brooks, I think he tries to lob the keeper. Just lift it over him.
We've just seen a replay of those 3 chances at the other end a minute ago. Travers' save, you would expect him to have made the save. He was definitely beaten by the one that hit the post from Norton. Wood from 8 yards hitting it straight at the keeper, and then an important deflection from Lewis Cook on the third one. As Bournemouth retain their 3-0 lead. Wherever you're listening, by the way to get in touch with us is at Solent Sport on Twitter. Whatever your perspective is, maybe you're a Swansea fan listening into our commentary, the normal Bournemouth commentary from BBC Radio Solent. As Brooks down this right hand side with a couple of step overs deep inside the Swansea half, tried to go past the challenge of Humphreys, who stepped across, stuck out a boot and denied the Welsh international's forward progress. And then in comes the challenge from James Hill. He's won Bournemouth a corner down by the corner flag, and really a corner he didn't really have any right to win.
Yeah, good work by Hill. He just wanted the ball more than the Swansea player. Deflection, and Brooks is going to be on another corner.
And one of those challenges where you win it and you give your teammate a fist pump, because it wasn't one you expected to get anything out of. So Brooks has it down this right hand side. Can Bournemouth add to their 3-0 lead here? Brooks's set pieces have been good so far. He's on a hat-trick of assists. This one rolls on the penalty spot. Little flick by Scott. It was too far behind Lewis Cook. The old school step over one.
The old school back. Flashback from the past.
Yeah, the penalty spot step over and runners coming in behind, but it was just misplaced by the Cherries, and Swansea have cleared it away up to halfway.
You know that is my one, don't you?
That is your one, isn't it?
It always has been, yeah.
Eddie Howe pinched it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, listen, he can have it.
Long ball out to the left-hand side where Lewis Cook has popped up at left wing for the Cherries from the breakdown of the previous move. Cook has it infield to Lloyd Kelly, joining in the attack again. Out to the left side, Sinistera, the penalty area. Back to Scott, 25 yards out. Ryan Christie in first time to Brooks, who lays it back to Ryan Christie. He's clipped by Fulton, but I thought play was going to continue, but actually Bournemouth have been given the free kick for the foul on Christie. This is nearly 30 yards out, but someone fancies a shot, I'm sure.
Scott, I think, will be the man.
Dead centre.
Well,
they need field billing from here, don't they?
We'll soon see.
You need someone to hit this with a hammer, I think. So the Cherries are lining up a couple of contenders. Little conference going on, a 4-man conference between Cook, Scott, Brooks and also Ryan Christie. Swansea's wall is pushed back just inside the D on the edge of the penalty area. 5 men in that Swansea wall, or 4 men and 1 off to the left as a charger.
I used to like to get involved in, when there's a chance of a shot, just pop my head in and say, I'll be on the far post, lads.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, do you want me to have this? And they usually say, get out of the way.
You know where I'll be if you need me.
Well, Alex Scott is teeing this up like he might have.
Oh, he will do.
Brooks and Scott are both teeing this up. They might have a shot. It's dead centre, so either of them can take it. David Brooks is the captain, chips it over the top. Solanke and Senesi were both there, but neither quite made contact. That had shades of the Nottingham Forest hoodwinkery there for a moment from Brooks, but
I think he took it off Senesi's head, Well,
it's a nice idea. Didn't really quite sit for either of them, did it? Didn't really reach Senesi. Solanke, it was awkward for him. He was sort of stretching for it as it came over. And in the end, I'm not sure it would have helped Senesi much if Solanke hadn't been there. Nice idea, not executed.
Yeah, good to watch.
3-0 Bournemouth lead in the 4th round of the FA Cup. We've got 11 and a bit minutes till half-time. At Solent Sport for your verdict on what you've seen so far, what you heard so far, if you've had the pictures on as well, or just the audio commentary. And also, are you happy now with players coming back, albeit there's still right-back issues? James Hill is looking a capable deputy in that area. Are you happy if Cherries don't add anybody else in this window? I think they're trying to hold off, thinking about full-back cover with Aaron's out for 3 or 4 weeks as Grimes is pulled to the ground on the halfway line by the Cherries. Free kick. I think it was Brooks who was penalised.
Yeah, it was. Can you just give him a little tug there?
The first ever meeting, by the way, Willow, in the FA Cup, and the only previous meeting prior to the one in 2000 was in 1921, when neither team had their current name.
1921.
Swansea Town
Boscombe
beat Boscombe FC 4-0. Come back to that in a second. David Brooks is away, put in by Dom Solanke. David Brooks really does deserve a goal, and David Brooks has a goal. It is 4-0 to Bournemouth. Brooks, looking to justify his place in the team, has 2 assists, now strokes it into the bottom left-hand corner, and Bournemouth are out of sight here inside the first half.
Well, if ever there was a man of the match at half-time, you've got one here. 2 assists, a goal himself, exceptional play.
He's onside as well. Just saying, we've seen a replay. There's not going to be a problem with that one, I don't think. There was a defender in the middle who wasn't in line with the rest of his defensive ranks, Nathan Wood.
I thought he would have took it one more touch here, but he hits it now.
Yeah, he's confident. The ball ran for him nicely inside the penalty. I think it's a little nutmeg by Solanke or Norton as well. The ball that ran through to Brooks. He just took one touch, knocked it out in front of him, and he had time to look up, pick his spot, have a see where the goalkeeper was moving, and he just rolled it into the bottom left-hand corner. They've got VAR checking the goal for possible offside. I mean, the replay I saw,
no, he was onside.
It looked clear. This time I'm with you.
More than the last time.
I agree that he did look more onside. Again, with the world's eyes watching the FA Cup, I think that one's going to be given. The lines on the pitch there seem to make that pretty obvious that he was onside. And indeed, play is about to restart. It is 4-0, and David Brooks is on the score sheet and deserves it. Solanke gets the assist for that one. Oh, what a first half, John.
Incredible.
I just think of all the first halves of terrible cup games this season. Bournemouth's shoddy performances down at the Swansea Stockholm Stadium as well. Here against Stoke, 4-0. Brooks MOM. Down the left-hand side it goes, and Patino chasing it for Swansea. Across goes Lewis Cook, and he just ushers that out of play. I mean, Swansea, they just look beaten, Willow. Even every 50-50 is turning into a 70-30, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved in games like this. All of a sudden, you go 3-0 down, and the game is literally over. But, you can't stop. You have to keep going. You have to keep driving on.
I realise that's one of my more ludicrous statements. As Solanke chases a ball through that runs through to Fisher. At 4-0 down, they look beaten. I think that's the understatement of the year. But yeah.
What about this? It's 15 seconds gone and it's 0-0.
Yeah. We're just about to kick off and it's 0-0. Ball down the far side, the right for Swansea. Kelly trying to usher this behind from a long way out. He's got a lot to do there, Lloyd Kelly. In the end, he has to put his foot on it because it wasn't going to make it. Under pressure from Ashby. That's charged down by Swansea, but Ryan Christie's back there on the left corner of his own area to nick it away. Well, people who came to see goals, cup games, people who can't get Premier League tickets might be here in the crowd this evening. They're seeing a treat at the moment as Joe Allen, another one we've hardly mentioned, into the edge of the penalty over Swansea. Little spin around the corner from Cullen. They force a shot, but it's blocked behind by James Hill. Swansea have a corner on the left. 4-0 down.
Any youngsters that have made it tonight, it's certainly a night to remember.
It is so far. It's not often you almost concede the game's over, Willow, but I think even you at 4-0 might have to...
I might have to
crane you off the fence for a change, as the ball is with Patino on this left-hand side. The Arsenal youngster lofts it deep to the back post, where Sinisterra is back there to head it away for the Cherries. Brooks tries to help it on from the edge of the box. Now Lewis Cook will try and set it for his defence to clear, and Sinisterra is there to run it away, looking for Scott down the far side, but it's good covering work on that far touchline from Harrison Ashby. And it goes back to Andy Fisher, the goalkeeper, the former Milton Keynes Dons man, who was a Russell Martin player at MK Dons and followed him to Swansea.
Great header.
That's a great header by Kelly on the far side, climbing above his man to knock it out for a throw.
Yeah, he smashed him to bits at the same time. It's gamesmanship in a fair way, but you know you're going to hit him when you launch yourself into headers like that.
Well, in many ways, including the contest on the field and also the atmosphere as well, it's got some sort of training game vibes about it at times, isn't it?
As now.
I don't know how S4C will be selling the second half to their viewers. I think a few might be going for EastEnders on +1.
They might need a lot of adverts.
Bashir Humphreys down this left-hand side. Stay with us though on BBC Radio Solent, because sometimes these games can turn spectacular. And Cherries have been on the end of a few of these thumpings, by the way. I think of Manchester City away as a regular example of thumpings where you just get absolutely outclassed. And again, Swansea making life difficult for themselves inside their own penalty area.
Down and they're still playing like that.
And Wood has gone out for a corner. Why didn't Wood clear that? Nathan Wood there, as the ball hit his own man, had time to clear that away, and for some reason just waited until it had run over the byline, then cleared it and conceded a corner.
Incredible. I just can't conceive how they've got the same mindset. They're still trying to play out. They're 4-0 down. They're trying to play out from the back.
It's certainly brave. I don't know what Wood was doing
brave or
there.
Foolish.
So corner to the Cherries on the far side. Alex Scott to take it. 5 minutes before half time. It is 4-0 in the Cherries' favour. 4 different goal scorers. Scott lofting this one as a Swansea player on the ground. Senesi, who was free, hammered it over the bar with his left foot, but Jerry Yates was fouled in the process.
Oh, that would have took the net and everything into the car park if he'd got it on the target.
Yeah. The reason that Senesi was free was that he basically threw Jerry Yates into Dom Solanke. That's why Yates ended up on the floor. So I think that's a fair enough free kick from the referee Darren England. Wood down the right hand side for Swansea, but that's misplaced and just goes all the way through to Mark Travers, defending the goal away to a left, who just took every opportunity there to allow the ball to roll into his penalty area before he could pick it up, despite the pursuit of Ashby on that far side. Travers rolls it out. Hasn't been a complete spectator, Mark Travers. Had to make an important save from Nathan Wood when the score was 3-0.
One off the post.
3-1 doesn't have a quite as comfortable look about it. Alex Scott has gone down. We heard the shriek there as Scott, I think, got his foot stood on. The challenge from Patino. He's up on his feet, okay, Scott. So it was Cullen who made the challenge. Yeah, just caught Scott as he released the ball. And the ball is on the halfway line with David Brooks, who John Williams did a turn on BBC Radio Wales pre-match to talk about how the Cherries Welsh internationals have been faring. And the answer is, it's been hard to say before tonight because they've hardly got on the field, Brooks, Mepham and Moore. But David Brooks is certainly a statement performance from him in this first half. Remember, he got taken off at half-time at QPR, captaining the team. Not often the captain gets dragged at the break, and the Cherries were 2-0 down at half-time at QPR. As Lewis Cook challenges Patino, free kick to Swansea inside their own half. 3.5 minutes remaining in this opening period.
So there's certain types of players who, when you are 4-0 up, they absolutely love it. And Cookie is having a great evening himself, on the ball and off the ball.
The draw, by the way, for the fourth round takes place on Sunday afternoon. The live games, 5 o'clock, I think Jordan Clark is telling me. 2 o'clock, sorry. The live BBC game on Sunday afternoon is Newport against Manchester United at 4:30 on Sunday. Cherries have worked that lovely down the left-hand side. Lloyd Kelly couldn't quite get there. Another overlapping run from Lloyd Kelly off that left flank. Just ran away from him as he tried to think about squaring it to Solanke, but well won back by Christie. Easily dispossesses Joe Allen, and now Sinistera. This is beautiful stuff from the Cherries. Left-hand side, the Cherries are hunting for 5 here. Sinistera back to the edge of the box, and Scott, who had a chance to shoot, but flicked it back out of the penalty area with a little bit of swagger. Now Lewis Cook. Can he end his long goal drought like Lloyd Kelly has done this evening? Lewis Cook. James Hill, right-hand side. Little turn from Christie. Slipped slightly. Didn't help him. Loses the ball as a result. Swansea bring it away on this left side.
Yeah, James Hill just wanted a little slider down this right wing, but Christie chose not to.
The only positive I can say in terms of this game being over as a contest is that one from Fulton is under hit back to Solanke, and thankfully, or rather Solanke was sliding in. Fisher, the goalkeeper, did well there because Jay Fulton just completely hung him out to dry. Fisher was guilty of a mistake earlier for a goal, but he saved Fulton in embarrassment there.
Yes, and both very honest with their tackle too. I know some people who would have taken a different course of action.
I tell you what, Luke Williams has been concocting his half-time team talk since about 14 minutes. As Christie to the left-hand side, and again, just completely overwhelming Swansea. Sinistera, square for Dom Solanke. It's 5-0 inside the first half. It is embarrassingly easy for Bournemouth. And at the heart of this club, of course, is family. And at the moment of a high, Dom Solanke chooses to remember the mother of Jayden Anthony, Donna, who tragically passed away unexpectedly earlier on this week. He removes his jersey, has RIP Donna on his black top. But the Cherries here, a clinical first half, 5-0 up.
Yeah, fantastic work and fantastic gesture to the players, especially towards Anthony.
Well, I just don't know what to say about the Swansea defending. It's just absolutely all over the place.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the goalkeeper and the centre half starting it off.
The boos, by the way, for the referee, who has to show Dominic Solanke a yellow card for taking his shirt off.
Yeah, well,
which Solanke will take the yellow card, I'm sure, to take the statement. I'll make the statement to say that Jayden Anthony is being thought of in the same way that the under-23s held up Jayden Anthony's shirt when they won in the Premier League Cup over Wolves. That was a brilliant week. And the Cherries at the moment, Willow, the women's team in midweek moved through to the next round of the Hampshire Senior Cup. The development squad moved through in the FA Youth Cup with that win at Newcastle. The other development squad, the under-21s, have gone through in the Premier League Cup, and now the Cherries are going through in the FA Cup. What a cup week it's been for the Cherries. They've won another corner on the right-hand side.
Yeah, looking hungry for more goals. Brooksy on the corner again.
Brooks on the corner on this near side. I mean, I haven't got the stats, Willow, for the last time Bournemouth were 5-0 up at half-time. I just haven't got that.
Fulham?
5-0 at half-time?
I'm not sure.
No. Anyway, corner on the right-hand side. We'll get scratching around during the interval. Let us know if you find it at Solent Sport on Twitter. The Cherries been 5-0 up at half-time before. Brooks lost one to the back post, and that was nearly reaching Zabani, who was unmarked, but out came the goalkeeper Fisher to claim it.
Two that spring to mind are Birmingham and Fulham.
Oh, how many were they up at half-time in the 8-0? That's a good shout. I don't think it was 5. I think they scored quite a few late on in that game, but I'm not sure. We've got Jordan Clark here as well, who's now turning researcher as well as presenter. The 8-0 would be a good place to start for looking for when Bournemouth will last 5-0 up at half-time. At Solent Sport, if you are a keen statistician and can let us know quicker than we can find it. I sort of had my eye on a bit of pizza at half-time rather than scratching around in the history books, but I'm happy to make the sacrifice tonight.
I'll get the pizza for you.
I thought you'd do the stat books, yeah. Fulton on the halfway line for Swansea here. I mean, what do you say as the manager at half-time? 0-5. And this is not like Premier League against non-league.
This is about embarrassment. Don't let the people who've travelled all this way, make sure you're showing that you're still having a go.
Cherries are only 3-0 up at half-time in Birmingham at the 8-0, so I knew there'd been some late goals in that one. The crowd sing Andoni Iraola's name. We've played 1.5 of the added 4 minutes at the end of this half. 5 different goal scorers, by the way. Kelly, Scott, Sinistera, Brooks and Solanke. Sinistera has got an assist. Solanke's also got an assist. Brooks has also got 2 assists. So there are some big attacking contributions this evening. Now it remains to be seen what Andoni Iraola does with his team in this second half. Does he keep this lot on and say, go on, score some more?
No, I think he'll change him.
Brooks down the right-hand side. That's brilliant skill from Brooks away from Bashir Humphreys. Cherries got Lloyd Kelly overlapping on the left-hand side. Lloyd Kelly's on a brace. Chops it onto his right foot. He's got no chance of shooting with that. Comes instead to Lewis Cook, 25 yards out. They want him to shoot. Instead, he dinks a cross in. No one had made the run, and it's gathered by the keeper, Fisher.
Yeah, I think he'll make quite a few changes at half-time.
So it's back with Fisher away to our right. At Solent Sport to get in touch with either your statistical findings. And again, we always say commentators can have notes and stats and things that are likely to happen. You just can't cover everything. And biggest Cherries leads at half-time wasn't one I thought I'd be needing to delve into this evening. As a ball over on the far side. Neil Perrott is just behind us from the AFC Bournemouth media team. He will probably be scratching around trying to find that kind of information. As we see 2 balls on the pitch at the minute on the far side. We've played 2 and a bit minutes, or nearly 3 minutes at the added 4, I should say, at the end of the half. Pray for S4C's viewing figures in the second half. That's all I can say. Are you staying with this game in the second half? Maybe you're staying out of fascination to see what happens at 5-0 at half time. We've got a minute left to the 4. Senesi up towards the halfway line, won by Fulton. There's obviously the element of professional pride here for Swansea. They've got to fight back in some way. Their performance has been flat. It's been insipid, lifeless, chaotic. Choose your adjective to describe the way that Swansea have played in this first half. And they've got a free kick 10 yards over the halfway line.
Yeah, I mean, as a manager, you get them in at half time, and it's got to be all about pride. You know, you've got to mention that.
This might be one where the players do the team talk and the manager says, you sort it out.
That could be.
Anyway,
be the first time that's happened.
Grimes with the free kick here for Swansea from just inside the Cherries half of the field. Dink towards the back post. Swansea win the header. That was too easy. Then Brooks misses the clearance, and then a good shot with the left foot is palmed over by Mark Travers as Liam Cullen swung a shot at it. That's a much more impressive save from Travers. Didn't have to work too hard to make the one earlier on in the half, but that one he really did well.
It's come through a stack of players too. It was a nice height, you would say, but still had a lot of work to do.
Super Mark Travers in goal, the North Stand Sing. Cherries with time up in this first half. I've got one more set piece to negotiate here for a spectacular opening 45 minutes. Mark Travers punches that away. That will probably be the half-time interval. In fact, there's still time to come here. The ball is lofted back into the penalty area by Swansea, and that one will run out of play. Doesn't matter anyway, that is half-time. And those who were lucky enough to get their hands on an FA Cup ticket here for the sold-out game against Swansea, certainly those in the red and black end, have seen quite a treat. 5-0 to Bournemouth at half-time. Lloyd Kelly with only his third goal in 4 years, his first in over 2 years, scoring from David Brooks' free kick. Alex Scott was set up by Brooks for the second. It was 2-0 after 10 minutes. Sinisterra stroked in the third after 14 minutes. Brooks deserved the goal and got one. 4-0 on 35, and then it was Sinisterra setting up Solanke for 5-0. Travers has made a couple of saves at the other end, but Swansea have been absolutely awful. John Williams, talk us through that half.
Well, it's splendid, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Not just the fact that we're 5 up, but it's the way we've played, the way we've passed the ball, almost passed the ball into the net. I'm sure everybody's here, and there's a lot of youngsters here tonight, and hopefully we'll be thinking we can come and watch Bournemouth if it's like this every week, because it's been a superb performance.
I'm off to go and dust off my history book. I'll find it in the bottom of my bag somewhere. Half time here. Remarkably, it is Bournemouth 5, Swansea City 0.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Chris, Willow, thank you very much. So, Bournemouth, we're only at half-time, but they are swaggering their way into the FA Cup 5th round. Here's how the first half unfolded here at the Vitality Stadium.
The Cherries spin off in different directions. It comes in from Brooks. Stealing round the back is Lloyd Kelly, who slides it in. What a finish from Kelly. Snuck in unseen at the back post to hammer it with his left foot into the roof of the net. And the Cherries strike early with the first goal of the Emirates FA Cup 4th round, 1-0. Brooks down the right-hand side, getting away from Humphreys easily. David Brooks tees it up, and Alex Scott makes it 2. 2 assists for David Brooks. What a first 10 minutes for him. Teed up Scott, who couldn't miss inside the 6-yard box. And forget about those terrible first halves in cup competitions this season. Bournemouth have started this one on fire. Poor clearance by Fisher, and here's Sinisterra in on his right foot. He shoots low, and that is 3-0. The velvet bag looms for the Cherries for round 5 after only 14 minutes. Disaster for the keeper Fisher this time. Terrible clearance. Sinisterra strokes it home. It's Bournemouth 3, Swansea 0. And David Brooks is away, put in by Dom Solanke. David Brooks really does deserve a goal, and David Brooks has a goal. It is 4-0 to Bournemouth. Brooks, looking to justify his place in the team, has 2 assists, now strokes it into the bottom left-hand corner, and Bournemouth are out of sight here inside the first half. To the left-hand side, and again, it's just completely overwhelming Swansea. Sinisterra, square for Dom Solanke. It's 5-0 inside the first half. It is embarrassingly easy for Bournemouth. And at the heart of this club, of course, is family. And at the moment of a high, Dom Solanke chooses to remember the mother of Jayden Anthony, Donna, who tragically passed away unexpectedly earlier on this week. He removes his jersey, has R.I.P. Donna on his black top. But the Cherries here, a clinical first half.
Lovely touch from Dominic Solanke there as the 5th hit the back of the net for Bournemouth. Come on then, what have you made of that first half? Bournemouth fans at Solent Sport, please, on social media. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word. 81333 on the text. Start those messages with the word Solent. Please pop your name on there so we can give you a shout out. Don't forget, text will be charged at your standard network rate. And look, what are you doing at half time if you're Andoni Iraola? You're 5-0 up, you're cruising. Surely you're resting some of those players with that big West Ham game to come in the Premier League a week tonight. During the half-time break, a couple of interviews to bring you. We're going to hear from Bournemouth player, now on loan at Southampton, Joe Rothwell. We'll hear from Pompey's new loan signing too. And we're going to cross live to the scene of a serious incident in Bournemouth and get you the very latest on what's happening in the Lansdowne area tonight. Our reporter Sophie Cridland is there. That is on the way for you next. You're listening to the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent Sport. On Wednesday, the 1st of March 2023, a baby's body was found in an allotment near Brighton.
This is an outcome that myself and many officers who have been part of this search had hoped would not happen.
You can't take it in. You can't believe it.
Two people, Constance Martin from Dorset and Mark Gordon, are accused of the manslaughter of their baby. They deny this and all the charges.
In a special series for BBC Sounds, we are taking you inside the courtroom, where we'll bring you all the big moments as the trial unfolds. Search for In Court on BBC Sounds.
Jordan Clark.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
The show coming to you live from the Vitality Stadium this evening. It's just ticked past 8:40. Right, we're just going to turn our attentions away from the football for a moment now and get some more for you on this developing situation in Bournemouth. Dorset Police investigating a serious incident in the centre of the town tonight. Our reporter Sophie Cridland is at the scene on Merrick Road.
Good evening, Jordan. That's right, I'm in the middle of Bournemouth tonight, where there's been police presence for much of the afternoon and this evening. Merrick Road is taped off with a number of police officers, vans and cars present. I've been watching the forensics team gather information and evidence. Dorset Police say they had a call at 2:45 this afternoon of disturbance on Merrick Road. When they arrived, 5 people were reported to have sustained injuries and were taken to hospital. One of those is understood to be serious but not life-threatening. Officers say 2 people were arrested on suspicion of wounding within 10 and a third has been arrested on suspicion of assault by beating. Dorset Police are asking anyone with any information on what happened today to get in touch.
Sophie, thank you very much. There you go, the latest from Lansdowne live on BBC Radio Solent, and you can find out plenty more about what's happened in Bournemouth earlier on today up on the Dorset pages of the BBC News website. And if there are any further developments tonight, we will of course keep you right across it here on BBC Radio Solent. Right, so we're going to hear from Joe Rothwell in a minute, Bournemouth midfielder who's joined Southampton on loan during this January transfer window. We'll hear from Pompey's new loan signing too. Let me just read a few of your messages out. Thank you if you've been in touch already this evening. I know lots of you listening across the country tonight on BBC Sounds and via your smart speaker. Great to have you there. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's say a very big hello, shall we, to young Isaac, 7 years old, listening in, watching on iPlayer at the same time. Isaac, hello to you. And I know you'd like us to give a shout out to Gordon Wallace, working down in the tunnel tonight on his birthday, so we can absolutely do that. Big happy birthday to Gordon. Working hard, I'm sure enjoying the football from the tunnel this evening as well, if he's been able to nip out and see a few of those goals from Bournemouth. And thank you guys as well. I'm assuming it's your mum or dad, Isaac, that sent this message in. Their name's not on there, but I know that you're big fans and listening to Cherries Unpicked regularly too, so thank you very much for that. We really do appreciate it. Alan says fantastic first half for Bournemouth, must keep the focus in the second. And Wing's been in touch, he's singing on WhatsApp. He says whatever will be, we're going to Wembley. But he says, surely we need to be resting Dom Solanke, Alex Scott, Lewis Cook, and maybe even Ryan Christie at a minimum at half-time. So happy with how it's going tonight. Wing, thank you very much for that message. Keep those coming in, please, at Solent Sport on social media. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word. 81333 on the text. That's where Eric's been in touch. He says, what a turnaround after Liverpool. We've got a really good team at the moment, and I like the way that they are playing. I wonder what your predictions are going to be. How's this one going to finish? You think Bournemouth will take the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half? Or are they going big? Are we on for a huge scoreline here at the Vitality Stadium? Hello to Josh in Shropshire. Josh says, now I know Chris Temple was asking if you knew the last time that Bournemouth were 5-0 up at half-time. Josh says, Bournemouth record win, 1971 beating Margate 11-0. Ted McDougall scoring 9. 5-0 at half-time. Margate boss asked for him to be subbed off. Josh, thank you very much. Love that. Great message. And of course it was the 11-0. How could we forget that? I don't know if they've been 5-0 up at half-time since then. There's been some big wins, haven't they? We were just having a quick look back through some of the victories. You heard Chris mention, of course, that the first one that initially sprung to mind was the 8-0 against Birmingham in the Championship, but they were only 3-0 up at half-time, and that one there was a Mark Pugh hat-trick in the second half. Sharon, hello to you as well, in touch on WhatsApp, says, wow, great feeling, the team are on fire and so great to see Brooks score. Yeah, what a game David Brooks is having, 2 assists before that goal too. Brilliant stuff from him, back in the starting 11 this evening. Right, more to come from you in a moment, but Cherries fans, you might be interested in hearing a little bit of this chat. Our Southampton commentator and sports editor Adam Blackmore headed down to Staplewood earlier this week to grab a word with Joe Rothwell. Of course, has just left Bournemouth to join Saints on loan for the rest of the season.
I said to you, when we met a few months ago, I had no doubts that he'd come into this league and take it by storm, and didn't expect him to probably get as many assists as he has, but obviously that's credit to the manager and the staff, and Adam himself for buying into what the manager wants to do, and I'm sure he'd be eager to get a few more goals and assists by the end of the season.
Talking of buying into what the manager wants to do, how have you found it?
Yeah, it's been good, tough at times, a lot of information to try and take on as quickly as possible. I feel like I'm getting there, maybe might take another week or so to fully understand the role that he wants me to play and how he does things, but no, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to learning that role a little bit more.
When you watched them on Saturday in that first half, I've said to Russell Martin that was probably the best football I've seen the club play since Ronald Koeman was in charge. That was quite something, wasn't it? You must have thought, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, as you said, it was probably the best first half of football I have seen in a long time, and it made me really want to get on the pitch and be involved in it. And as I say, hopefully now I can learn that role a little bit more, and I am part of that who's doing that week in, week out.
Just on actually switching clubs and coming up the A31, how difficult was that, or how easy, or are you just glad to be getting a fresh start? How's the psychology of it been? Because when sort of manager says to you, you can go on loan, it's a bit of a kick, or is it not?
I feel, because I asked him if I was able to go. They was more than happy for me to stay there and be part of the squad, but I hadn't played as many minutes as I would have liked to. So I had a conversation with the manager and told him this is what I want to do and this is my option. And as I say, he was more than happy for me to do that in terms of coming to this club because of the way they play football. He felt it would be a good fit for me, and yeah, I'm here now, and the aim is to get Southampton back into the Premier League.
And when you look at the squad, how confident are you can do that?
Very confident. I think the run that they're on speaks for itself. There's not just the set 11 that go out there every week. I feel like everyone in the squad has played a part in that, and everyone's ready to come in whenever needed. Everyone knows the roles, and it's up to me now to get to that point as well, and hopefully when I'm asked I can come in and help the team.
Just finally, what we don't want is for Watford to bring the run to a halt, even though it's not a league game. Psychologically, it's important to keep going, isn't it?
It's massive, yeah. Winning breeds confidence in whatever competition you play in, so as you say, Sunday will be no different, and we'll be going there to try and extend that run again.
Saints midfielder on loan from Bournemouth, Joe Rothwell, speaking to Adam Blackmore ahead of their FA Cup game away at Watford on Sunday. Another match will bring you live on BBC Radio Solent. And Saints women, incidentally, are 1-0 down at half-time in the Women's League Cup this evening against Tottenham at half-time. The Swansea players are just making their way back out onto the pitch. You hear more from Joe Rothwell in the Sports Hour tomorrow night. And we've been squeezed for time a little bit, so we won't have any time to bring you Miles Peart-Harris, Pompey's new line signing from Brentford, but you will hear that interview in full on the Sports Hour tomorrow evening from 6 with Ian Wilding. Thank you if you've been in touch at half-time. Lots of you getting in touch to highlight that big win for Bournemouth over Margate in the FA Cup, where they were indeed 5-0 up at half-time, went on to win 11-0 at the AFCB Sydney supporters group. Thank you to you for sending that message in. Hello to Jim Baldwin as well, just pointing out that Ted McDougall, brilliant show from Ted McDougall in that game against Margate. Right, let's hand you back to your commentary team, shall we? So a reminder, the game live on all BBC Radio Solent frequencies. We're on BBC Sounds, we're on your smart speaker if you ask it to play BBC Radio Solent, and we are on 5 Live Sports Extra. It looks like we've got a change coming up for Bournemouth. To tell you all about it, your commentary team, the former Bournemouth defender John Williams and Chris Temple.
Thank you very much, Clarkey. And it is a Welsh-themed substitution, but for Bournemouth, because Kiefer Moore is coming on, replacing Dom Solanke. It wasn't a surprise that we suggested he might go off at half-time. And also Lloyd Kelly, just back from injury. No risk taken for him, but great to see Milos Kerkez back on the field, who's been out since the abandoned game against Luton here in the middle of December. So half-time changes. both protecting players who have recently returned from injury and also are very key to the Cherries' hopes going forward. So 5-0 at half-time, as lots of you have been texting in, thanks for that. We've been having the same sort of scratching around in the press room, that 11-0 record win in 1971 over Margate. It's 9 by Ted McDougall, of whom the stand away to our right is now named. Swansea, by the way, have sent the same 11 out to get themselves out of, I say get themselves out of this mess. I mean, they're going to need every tool in the box to get themselves out of this mess. We'll give you the full team lineups very shortly. It's Cherries, red and black shirts, black shorts and black socks from right to left in this second half. Kirkes slides in and wins his first tackle in typical athletic fashion and then goes charging off away down the left-hand side, fresh into the action. Kirkes swings a long diagonal towards the far side where Brooks is there. He stood off to win the header from Humphreys, who had a torrid first half for Swansea, as did most of their back line. Comes back to Lewis Cook. He swings one in. Kiefer Moore stealing in, stabs it towards goal. He was challenged as he did so. Half cleared by Swansea. Out of the penalty area over on the far side. Brooks picks it up, left-footed, lobs it in down the right-hand side. Scott's there. He drives it across towards Kiefer Moore. The Cherries have won a corner after 45 seconds of the second half. More of the same, John Williams.
Yeah, it appears like nothing's changed, does it? Brooksy again on the corners.
Well, again, I'm sure Welsh viewers will be very enjoying seeing the performance of David Brooks, and now getting 45 minutes to look at Kiefer Moore as well on, as Brooks over on that far side prepares to deliver this Cherries corner into the 6-yard box, headed away, nearly runs for Scott on the edge of the box, hacked clear by Allen. I will give you the full team lineups very shortly after those two Bournemouth substitutions, as Senesi just waited and then knocked it down the left flank to Sinistera, his big mate who's offside actually. So here are the changes then, or as the changes have lined up the second half. Cherries have Travers in goal. The back four is now Hill, Zabani, Senesi and Kirkes. Cook and Christie as the sitters. Then you've got Brooks, Scott and Sinistera and Moore leading the line. The remaining Cherry subs are Radu, Mepham, Kilkenny, Clivert, Tavernier, Sadie and Semenyo, who's back from the Africa Cup of Nations with Ghana after their early exit. Swansea have Fisher in goal. The defenders Wood, Norton, Humphreys. Then you've got Ashby and Cullen wide. Fulton, Allen and Grimes centrally. And then Patino and Jerry Yates, who is leading their line. I'll give you their subs as we get through the game. And the ball is rolled out by Mark Travers away to our right. Cherries, I say, red and black stripes, black shorts and socks. Swansea all in white. Our officials are in blue tops, and Darren England is the referee. There's a late challenge on Sinistera there on this near side. In fact, it's gone out of play.
Throwing.
Yeah, it's gone out of play. So we will never know what Luke, we might know at the end of the game when someone asks him, but we don't know for the minute what Luke Williams said at half-time, Willow. But I think the general theme was, could you be a little bit better, please?
Dreadful places to be when you're 5-0 down at half-time, I can tell you.
I'm trying to see if any of their fans have gone.
Yeah, I went outside and there's some...
Yeah, there's a few. I think there's a few emptier seats in that away. So they've only bought about 500, as we said earlier on a Thursday night. It is a long trip. It's a horrible trip, really. Midweek. The ball is with the Cherries over on that far side. Lewis Cook. The rain is continuing to swirl around here. It's greasy conditions. David Brooks is. Tell you what, there's a touch of yesteryear about David Brooks as the ball over the left-hand side for Sinistera to chase. Ashby's in pursuit. Sinistera has it, but it's isolated from his red and black shirts. That's a lovely flick back from Sinistera. There was a bit of champagne about that as well. Then little flick back from Ryan Christie to Kirkes. This is great football. Kirkes' low cross is turned behind for a corner. Wow.
Well, if you can't do it now when you're 5-0 up, you'll never do it. Free as birds, the players there. Little flicks.
You know when the crowd sort of ooh and ah, you know it's got a bit special there. There was a couple of lovely silky touches in there. Christie involved as the Cherries win a corner on the left-hand side. 3.5 minutes into the second half, 5-0 up on Swansea in the FA Cup fourth round. It's a corner from Scott to the near post. There are people not even looking, and driven towards goal by Senesi and blocked away close to the line. Sinistera was facing away from the ball, which ran behind him, and a free kick given on the edge of the penalty area for a push on Swansea. Well, I was watching Sinistera, because the ball was near him, but he was just looking the other way, worrying about blocking a defender. Anyway, the ball is cleared out by Swansea over towards the left-hand side. I've got to say, Swansea fans must hate Bournemouth. They haven't won in 13 matches against the Cherries, going back to 2006. Actually, until the 3-3 draw down at Swansea a couple of seasons ago, they hadn't scored in 7 games in a row against the Cherries. So Bournemouth really are... or Swansea really are one of the teams that Bournemouth have the edge over.
Bogey team,
yeah. And the ball is with Ashby on this near side, who creditably ran with purpose to fetch the ball back and take a quick throw in at 0-5. Remember, Southampton away to Watford on Sunday afternoon is our live commentary in the FA Cup. That will be around about the time that draw is being made, Sunday afternoon as well, for the 5th round. As the ball goes out for another throw-in underneath us. Just to reiterate what we said earlier on, 5 Premier League teams are already out. 5 Premier League teams will go out in this round, not Bournemouth by the look of it. 5 are guaranteed to go out because there are all Premier League ties. And there are 6 all-EFL ties in this round. So again, 6 EFL teams guaranteed to be in the last 16 of the competition. Cherries will hope the draw gods are on their side if they can hold on to this 5-0 lead. Here comes Bashir Humphreys to the left-hand side. Chance to drive one across by Cullen, which is blocked by Hill. And that's going to swirl out of play for a throw-in to Swansea right over by the corner flag.
So, I just don't understand why Humphreys didn't take that on for a shot for himself. It's not like his mate was in a better position.
I think his confidence might be a bit dented by his first half show. He got the complete run around Bashir Humphreys in that first half.
Watch out, there's a Humphrey about.
He's got the ball over on the far side, taking a throw in for Swansea, close to the byline. It's to the right edge of the penalty area, but Zabani's there to clear it away. He's another one I think the Cherries will probably want to wrap up at some point in the second half. Would you think, Mepamon?
Yeah, I'm absolutely certain he'll make changes all the way through.
5 subs available as the ball is cleared now by Hill. And Moore has just been so comfortable. The crowd just haven't been able to get into the game. There's been nothing really in terms of incident or, I guess, jeopardy about the game at the moment. As Sinistera is trying to bulldoze his way through the centre circle, but some quick feet by Patino. And now caught in possession Fulton, but he managed to release the ball just in time with 3 in red around him. And it's back to Fisher, defending the goal away to our left. Long ball down the field, won by James Hill, comfortably, easy header. Scott slips over. The pitch is getting a bit greasy. The rain has been pretty incessant, and Bournemouth have given away a free kick. Lewis Cook with another pushover.
Yeah, Cookie and Christie would be my next 2, I think.
If you had to take one of them off, which one would come off for you? If you had to leave one on and take one off? No, I'm giving you trying to make it interesting. Who's your priority?
Lewis Christie.
For the listeners who don't normally listen to us, trying to get an answer out of John Williams is like Swansea trying to keep a clean sheet, as James Hill has it over on the right hand side. Given away by the Cherries that time, but Hill's got it back. Then he slipped rather awkwardly. James Hill has fallen on the turf there. That looked an awkward fall for James Hill, and the Cherries players are waving on the medical staff here. James Hill is down holding his right lower leg. He really did fall quite horribly there, James Hill. Just seeing him turn. Oh goodness me! We've just seen a replay. His knee.
No, his ankle it was.
Is it his ankle? Yeah. Oh yeah, his lower leg, or it could be any part of his right leg. Really did jar in the ground and turn horribly there.
I mean, that's the less of the evils for me. If it's your knee, you're bang in trouble. Your ankle, it's the one injury you can sort of strap up, or not at this moment in time. He'll probably come off now just as a precaution, but you can strap up and you can nurse it, and it doesn't, it's a funny joint.
Just watching over the physio there, Chris Mepham is obviously limbering up now slightly more excessively down the touchline. Hill is, he's sat up, and the physio Scott McAllister is there with him.
You just know it was the inside of his ankle as well, which is, I know it sounds weird, but that's better.
It was just one of those innocuous ones, wasn't it, where he's challenging for the ball. There was nothing wrong by any party there. He just planted his foot and his body was moving in a slightly different direction. His right leg really did turn at a horrible angle, but he's been helped back to his feet.
No, he won't stay on, but if he can walk, that's a great sign, and he is walking good.
Yeah, not that well, I must say. He's sort of leaning over, holding his right knee.
Now, this is what goes through your head now. Now you start testing it to see how far you can go with it, but there's no way he's staying on.
So Hill is over on that far side. Now Aarons, we saw almost the same. He was almost in exactly the same part of the pitch where Aarons, we thought was for sure was coming off. Then he stayed over there and tried to come back on, and Hill, it looks like he's trying to do the same because he's jogging towards the halfway line.
That is incredible that he comes on.
He's jogging, I would say, in the kind of way that I look when I'm sprinting, which is awkward, uneasy, and very slowly. With the ball over on the far side is way over hit by Travers from the free kick, and it's a goal kick to Swansea away to our left.
When you're young and you're not quite wise enough about injuries, but James just come off, mate.
Well, Swansea playing it around at the back at the moment, and Hill is he's still off the field. Lewis Cook is depping at right back at the moment, so I think I'm just trying to keep an eye. Chris Mepham is not looking like he's getting ready. He's still just wandering around on the touchline in his substitute's yellow bib with gloves on and a long sleeve training top. Swansea are preparing to bring on the experience of Yannick Bolasie very shortly from the substitutes bench, former Everton man, amongst other clubs in his career. Just back from a spell in Turkey, as out goes Grimes to the left hand side. Ashby is furious underneath us as Grimes looked left instead of right. Ashby was in loads of space and he's still kicking off underneath us, Harrison Ashby. They've got it left side, Swansea. They deliver it in. Travers is caught out of position and backpedaling there, palmed it away, lost his bearings for a second there. Travers, whether that caught the wind as well.
I think it did.
Yeah, and it's gone behind for a corner.
I think he was coming to catch it and he decided, no, I'll just have to help it out.
James Hill's not going to carry on well.
Of course he's not.
No, I think that was obvious. Well, need I say he's a fullback and he's got an injury. He's a right back.
Oh, cliche for us, isn't it?
We'll sort that out in a second as we just see the Swansea corner for a moment. In from Joe Allen. That's about his only contribution to the game so far, I think, Joe Allen taking.
Let's bring you back here to the Vitality Stadium with Bournemouth 5-0 up. Chris Temple's line has just dropped.
We will carry on, Jordan. We will battle on as we get that line ready. Ball is out for a throw in on the far side. So James Hill just walking around the pitch away to our right. He's going to come off here. We're going to see the change for Swansea. First of all, Charlie Patino is coming off for Swansea. Gets a handshake from Luke Williams. James Hill walking down underneath us. And he's going to be replaced by Gavin Kilkenny. So, Lewis Cook to right back. And Gavin Kilkenny in alongside Ryan Christie. A rare opportunity for the Irishman, Gav Kilkenny.
Yeah, it's good to see he's walking quite well.
Are we saying James Hill's walking quite well? Is that walking well?
Well, what I had in mind, yes.
Okay, right.
Because I've done them
without the use of a trolley.
And you just know when you can't go on.
Well, horrible for James Hill. I mean, we heard from him pre-match. Let's hope that isn't as serious as it can be when you land awkwardly like that. So another Cherries fullback. I mean, talk about in 12 minutes, they've got Milos Kerkez back from injury on one side, and within 12 minutes, they've lost James Hill to injury on the other side.
Incredible ways of people as dropping at fullback, isn't it?
Well, that is now 4 right backs injured: Smith, Fredericks, Aarons, and Hill. And Hill's sort of a bit of a stand-in. 4 injured right backs. Can Dongo Watara play right back? Get him on a plane back from Ivory Coast.
That's what I say with the 3 at the back.
Scott down this near side for the Cherries. Christie has it, and then Kilkenny with some fast feet. He's clipped there, did well to win a free kick, Kilkenny, because the ball had run out of play actually. Down underneath us. It's good to see Gav Kilkenny. I think this will be a shop window loan sort of situation for Gav. Yeah. We're expecting him to go out on loan.
Yeah, of course.
So for him to have half an hour here in a team 5-0 up, he can get on the ball hopefully in a bit of space. Over on the far side, Cherries have got it with Brooks. So 5-0, if you're just joining us, Cherries took off Kelly and Solanke, who were the goal scorers number 1 and 5 for the Cherries. They went off at half-time. And in between that, Scott made it 2-0, Sinistera 3 and Brooks 4. And we think the last time Bournemouth were 5-0 up at half-time was during that 11-0 FA Cup win over Margate here, back in 1971. Here's Brooks over on the right-hand side for the Cherries. And he's got it down that right flank at the moment. Back it goes to Kilkenny. Puts his foot on the ball. Cultured footballer, Gav Kilkenny, but has just found the jump up to Premier League level difficult. He's had a couple of loans that haven't really worked out, the likes of Charlton and Stoke as well, but he stayed in and around the squad in recent times. Kept himself fit, kept himself mentally right, and hopefully makes the most of his chance tonight and maybe the next few months if he gets out on loan. As Christie down the left side looking for Kerkez, charging on, slides in with a challenge. As Kerkez going to try and win a corner, he does. And again, that's the kind of thing that gratiates Milos Kerkez to the Cherries crowd there. All action, sliding in for a lost cause, wins a corner.
Yeah, great work. Great 1-2 again. Tried to just slide and block at the same time, but it didn't matter. Went out for the corner.
Yeah, and the ball actually rolled off Norton, who was almost lying on the floor behind for a corner. Short one taken to the left side of the box. Christie has it. Left-hand side, trying to go around the outside of substitute Balassi, who knocks Christie to the ground. But the crowd sort of half appeal for a penalty. They do get a corner. It was a sort of all-action challenge by Balassi. Christie's claiming he was clipped, but
we'll just put this one in, please.
Into the box it might come. Cherries have varied their corners so far. We've had the step over, the short one to the back post.
So one thing you don't want to have is people taking too much time on the ball. Keep it moving.
Thanks to all of you getting in touch at Solent Sport, by the way, which is the way to get in touch with us. We'll try and give a few of you a mention if the game continues to be a little bit stale in terms of a contest. Here comes the corner for the Cherries. Deep to the back post, ducking underneath it was Moore, and then Zabani lost his footing or lost his bearings, and it ran off him and behind. Good evening to Roy Fraser, by the way, who says, I was the club photographer at Margate for the 11-0 or the Margate 11-0 game. Sat by the goal, got all 9 Ted McDougall goals, close up and personal. What an experience. 53 years ago, Roy. Great to hear from you at Solent Sport. What about that? They're games you remember, aren't they? There's games
was
that
it 5-0 at half time?
It was, yeah, 5 at half time. Yeah. Ball out on this near side with Swansea at the moment. We've played 61 minutes of the FA Cup. Ball down this right side for Balassi, trying to take on Kirkes, and Travers clears it away. That's going to land in the press box, is it? Oh, takes out a laptop nearly. There was a fan who was doing his best to try and catch it, nearly punched it into someone's laptop by mistake. And the ball is back on the near side. Nathan Jones, the former Southampton manager, just spotted in the director's area here as well, who of course has Swansea connections or South Wales
Nathan
connections.
Was my boot boy.
He was.
Cardiff.
Get the stories in, Willow.
Yeah.
Is he a Neath boy, Nathan Jones? He's obviously was at Cardiff, as you say, but just got it in my mind he's from Neath, but we'll see.
Your own questions tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to test you, Willow. Here come the Cherries. Out comes Fisher to the edge of the penalty area, and it just about reaches there as the Cherries played a long ball out from the back. It's one of those games where we've got time to ask questions because there just isn't a lot happening on the field, apart from the Cherries have absolutely dominated. We'll have reaction on air this evening, and it'll be on our Twitter at Solent Sport as well, as Mark Travers clears it away, left-footed. We heard from him pre-match talking to Ian Wilding. In comes Senesi, and again Ashby there is so half-hearted for Swansea in his efforts to try and get there ahead of Senesi, who just pinched it off him almost apologetically. And now Brooks, who I'm sure will want to stay out there as long as possible. What a ball that is from Brooks with the outside of his foot, a bit of outside swerve to Sinisterra out on the touchline, and then he is absolutely side down by Ashby, who gets a yellow card. It's almost like a yellow card plus, that one, isn't it? That was a bad side from Ashby, leaves Sinisterra in a heap.
Sinisterra was away there. His next look was going to be at the goal. Ashby just looking up. Worse action taken, perhaps.
That was one of those that in greasy conditions you sort of start the slide tackle from a few metres away and then you just carry on.
He's 12 inches high with his foot.
So, free kick to the Cherries, left-hand side. We played 18 minutes of the second half. BBC Radio Solent here on the south coast. BBC Sounds. It's the wind and the rain is swirling around here. It's a bit of a miserable night generally, but Cherries fans won't care about that at the moment. Their side are on the prowl for a 6th goal against Swansea to move through in further style to the 5th round of the FA Cup. So it's going to be Alex Scott from this left-hand side, who scored the Cherries second in what feels like last month now. It was that long ago, and the game has progressed so far since then. Scott whips it in towards the near post. Someone was trying to get a nick on it, but in the end it was straight through to Fisher, who kept his eye on it well.
I think it was Zaber. Oh, Nathan Jones.
Nathan Jones was born somewhere that producer Dan has just told me in my ear, but I've got to say I don't think I could pronounce it. Blaine Rwanda, which we'll have absolutely slaughtered that. The crowd cheer, by the way, as Andy Fisher slips over as he...
That'll be in the Valleys, I expect.
I would imagine so, but apologies to those who speak Welsh or want a Welsh accent on that. I really haven't said that too well. Down the right-hand side, Swansea have it, Balassi. But there's the Cherries number 17 up against the Swansea number 17, Balassi. And it was Sinisterra who came out on top, and the ball's back to Grimes in the centre of the Swansea midfield. The Swansea captain moving over to the left-hand side. We've got the ball, I think the Swansea fans are chanting as it comes in towards the penalty spot. Zabani volleys it away for the Cherries, and the "We've got the ball" chant will have to end there. Blake Rwanda is South Wales.
That's a lot of South.
Yeah, it is. in between Swansea and Cardiff. There we go. Jordan Clark has just told me that he drove past Nathan Jones in this local area quite recently. He was out for a run apparently, so Nathan Jones is clearly still living in this area, in the Bournemouth area, after his job at Southampton. I think he's been close to a couple of other jobs since then, but not back in management at the moment. 20 minutes played in the second half. Christie's robbed it from Swansea City there. It was given away by Joe Allen, and then Christie in turn was trying to play it through for the run of Brooks. Got it wrong. Swansea clear it long down the far side of the left. Great pace by Lewis Cook playing it right back. Not the first time we've seen him there. We saw him at centre back, of course, at QPR late in the game. For the second FA Cup tie in a row, he's playing it right back.
You know what? Brooksy apart, he's been a pleasure to watch tonight.
Oh, then Scott's brought down by Joe Allen. Is that going to be a yellow card? I think it's going to have to be. Referees can't sort of just stop giving out cards because they feel sorry for teams. That is a yellow card for Joe Allen for bringing down Alex Scott.
Yeah, Cookie's just been at the heart of most of the best parts of the game.
So just keep an eye on the Cherries bench. The remaining subs down there that haven't been used so far. Sadie, Semenyo, Tavernier, Clivert, Mepham and Radu. As the ball down the left side for the Cherries, chested in field by Sinistera looking for Kirkes. And we are going to see a change in a moment for Swansea. We're going to see Oliver Cooper come onto the field. I was just going to look at the stats as well, but I'll come back to that because Alex Scott has nicked it through. Brooks slipped but gets back to his feet. Right corner of the penalty area. David Brooks tries to shoot. That was a bit selfish from David Brooks that time, but we'll forgive him as three Swansea defenders were in front of him. Lewis Cook just strokes it down the right side of the box. And again, for as disorganised as Swansea have looked, Bournemouth have played some very good stuff at times, which has made Swansea look bad.
Yeah, they've moved it around really quickly, which is always a problem for any opposition.
Cherries have had 6 shots on target and are leading 5-0. Ball into the penalty. Kiefer Moore, we'll come back to that in a second. Well, a lovely turn by Kiefer Moore. Tried to knock it into the penalty. I think that was some sort of 360 twirl by Kiefer Moore on the ball.
I was told at half-time that we've had 52% possession.
Swansea officially have had more of the ball. Incredible. Yeah, they've had 52% now. And what I'm looking at live in front of me here. I'm just trying to look at a replay here of that Kiefer Moore twirl. Quarter of the game to go, plus a little bit more. 5-0 to the Cherries against Swansea on BBC Radio.
Spin sounds better.
Whatever it was.
12 sounds a bit curly.
The ball is on the left-hand side with the Cherries for a corner in front of the north stand, which Alex Scott again is going to take. This one's into the near post, and it was again Zabani who got himself there, but cleared by Swansea. Back out to the taker, Scott. Left-hand side, Scott with a couple of step-overs, fast feet. Can he get a cross in? Christie wants it set, comes back to the edge of the penalty area where Brooks again is busy. Comes over to the left-hand side now. Knocks it back to Scott again. Cherries are moving Swansea around very well, left side of the penalty area. Brooks, again, calm. Oh, that stayed in. That was like the other day when the ball defied the law of physics there.
Yeah.
That hit the whitewash and bounced back in play. Christie's back on the halfway line. And now Zabani. Fair play to the Swansea fans, I've got to say it. 0-5, yeah. They're still singing, they're still here. That's a long ball from the Cherries, which Kirkes will again valiantly chase, but had no chance of catching. Goal kick Swansea. No,
you have to hats off to the Swansea fans. They have been tremendous sports.
So Mike Botto's got the Mike Botto, the announcer's got that the wrong way around. I think he said that Oliver Cooper was coming off, but actually he's coming on. So he's on, Cooper, and off goes Joe Allen, who I've got to say has been completely ineffective. Second spell at Swansea, the former Liverpool player, of course. And he hasn't done anything at all. He's been absolutely bypassed. Cleared by Fisher, the goalkeeper, left to right down the field. 21 minutes to play. Lewis Cook is now heading it back to Travers, away to our left. And the ball is with the Cherries goalkeeper. 9 points above the drop zone, Swansea. They're 10 points short of the playoffs, so they are as mid-table as you can get at the moment in terms of points in the Championship. But Luke Williams is only a handful of games into his Swansea managerial career as he tries to recover a bad start to the season. That's nice from Kirkes and Sinistera for Bournemouth down the left-hand side, and then Sinistera with his left foot went early, looking to tease it in for more running onto it. Also Brooks was, Scott it was, who was advancing into the box.
Great 5-man move though, wasn't it? Quick passing. One touch most of the time, hard to stop.
Well, after his slip over, the Cherries fans behind Andy Fisher's goal are right onto him. He's got it back at the moment under pressure from Fisher. Got rid of it that time with no further incident. And it's back with Lewis Cook inside the Cherries half again. Luke Williams, by the way, was the assistant to Russell Martin at Swansea. The now Southampton manager was his has branched out on his own. Of course, he was the manager who led Notts County to a spectacular National League promotion last year to rejoin the Football League, beating Wrexham, of course, to the title, and has had his chance now to step up into league management of his own accord, Luke Williams, but he definitely won't be enjoying what he's seen tonight from Swansea. Advantage played there as Fulton clipped his man, and now it's up to halfway with Senesi for the Cherries. He's caught late there. It had to be a free kick. Who was the one who brought him down? Because if it was Ashby, he was booked a minute ago.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, Ashby.
Yeah, Yates was involved there as well. Cherries fans are having a crack here now. 5-0 up rather. 20 minutes to go. Slipped by Scott over the top. Moore, if he can control it, will be in. He can't quite control it. It runs to the left of the box. He needs support arriving. Takes his time. Looks up towards Sinistera. Couldn't find him with the ball to the edge of the penalty area. And in fact, Kiefer Moore was offside from the initial ball forward on the far side. It was such a late flag. The assistant referee on the far side had to sidestep about doing like he was line dancing about 20 yards.
How long do they wait for that? What's the cut-off point?
I don't think there's an official cut-off. We're going to see Marcus Tavernier, who's someone I probably thought of 5-0 we maybe wouldn't expect to see, but it's going to be David Brooks coming off.
Number 7, David Brooks.
Is that a terrific game, David Brooks?
Yeah, man of the match still, followed closely by Cookie for me. Tavernier's coming on.
I'd love to hear what he whispered in the ear of Marcus Tavernier as he ran on there. So on goes Tavernier over to the far touchline, straight swap for Brooks. Great 71 minutes work for David Brooks, 2 assists and a goal, and that was all inside the first 35 minutes. 5-0 to the Cherries, 19 minutes to remain in this tie, as Swansea playing it around inside their own half at the moment with Humphreys over on that far touchline. They knock it in field, back it goes to Fulton, and Humphreys under pressure again here, and he plays it into Cooper in central midfield on as a sub, and now down this right hand side again. That from Nathan Wood is just terrible. It's nowhere near anybody in white. It's just out. I just can't even see what he was trying there. We try to be as generous as possible, but some of the Swansea quality this evening has been really, really lacking.
In their defence, you have to say at 5-0. There's massive pressure on it.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't imagine people are looking for the ball that hard at 0-5 either. That's given away by Cullen inside his own half, and now a chance for Tavernier to run at the Swansea defence for the first time. A fresh Tavernier is probably the last thing that Bashir Humphreys over on that far side wants to see coming on. Tavernier has given quality Premier League defences all manner of problems.
I think Humphreys will do well to stay on the pitch.
Yeah,
that would really compound it for Swansea.
17.5 minutes to play on BBC Radio Solent. As we say there, Bashir, he's only 20, Bashir Humphreys. He's an England under-21 international. That's the ball over the top from Zabani, which again, Kirkes. The one thing about Kirkes is he doesn't never give anything up, does he?
No.
Even if he hasn't got a hope of getting it, he'll just chase it till it goes out.
It's a great asset to have.
Yeah. Wasn't that something that Irola was talking about with him, though? It was like managing that effort. Yeah. Like there, he was never going to get that. He's still sprinting after it.
It's hard to beat someone who never gives in.
Yeah, true. And it's that balance between showing your care and showing your all heart, and sometimes managing that effort around the field. Just having a little look down at the bench where the Swansea management team are almost having like a 4-man head-to-head coaching conference here. 17 minutes to play. 5-0 to the Cherries. BBC Radio Solent, BBC Sounds. Out to the right-hand side, Yates, who's another one who's been extremely anonymous for Swansea. Their centre forward has had very little to get his teeth into, as Christie again is positive and tried to roll it down the right-hand side, the left-hand side of Sinistera. It's out of play off Swansea for a throw-in. Kirkes with the short sleeve gloves combination. He also has a rather strange sort of cutting in his back of his socks, as we see the Cherries trying to put more in there ahead of Wood. Cleared away by the goalkeeper Fisher. Volley back by Senesi. What a pass that might turn out to be. That's about a 50-yard volley from Marcos Senesi straight onto Tavernier's toe. Then Lewis Cook pulls it back, and here comes Moore to drive it, and it's deflected past the post. That would have been Marcos Senesi's greatest ever contribution if they'd scored that.
Do you think he meant it? He was looking the other way when he hit it.
Short corner taken on the far side. Tavernier just goes between two like they're invisible. Tavernier into the penalty area. Can't knock it back to anybody coming in red. And Swansea bring it away.
I hope Senesi did mean it, because that is a great pass.
Well, that's just a shame they couldn't quite finish it. Cherries have conceded a free kick deep inside the Swansea half. What a ball from Senesi. 50 or 60 yards on the volley first time, straight to his man. There's more, we're just seeing a shot there. It was blocked by the defender who was almost prone on the turf. 5-0, 15 plus to go on BBC Radio. So the last 3 meetings, by the way, prior to today, had produced 15 goals. So we are keeping up the average of 5 goals a game. 4-0, the Cherries won the last meeting here. They've gone one better this evening, 5-0. Swansea have got 1, 2, just counting their subs coming on, I think 2. Cleared away by Fisher down the far side. Volleyed back by Zabani with interest towards the halfway line, but Moore couldn't find a red shirt. Norton just lofts it forward for Swansea down the far touchline, the left. It's deep inside the Cherries half. There's Kilkenny to pick it up. Then Lewis Cook's caught by Fulton. Is that going to be a free kick and a yellow? I think it is a yellow for Jay Fulton, who's going to add to the ever-growing roster of Swansea players in the notebook of the referee Darren England.
Yeah, when you are 5-0 down, you best stop compounding the situation by getting bookings. You know, it's difficult because you want to be competitive still.
Substitution for Swansea City.
More changes happening for Swansea here. Liam Cullen is going off. And Jamie Patterson, the experienced striker, is coming on. And Harrison Ashby is also making way. And here we're replaced on this near side by number 50, who is Philip Lissa. I'm just slightly distracted because I'm looking at a tweet from Jayden Anthony, who's tweeted in response to AFC Bournemouth posting the picture of Dom Solanke when his goal scoring RIP Donna shirt in memory of Jayden Anthony's mum. Jayden Anthony has reposted that with a couple of red hearts, so that's really appreciated by Jayden Anthony at a tough time. He was of course involved for Leeds at the weekend as well, which was remarkable, giving such a deeply personal loss for Jayden and family. 5-0 to the Cherries here, 13.5 minutes remaining on BBC Radio Solent. Lewis Cook down the right hand side as an attacking fullback all of a sudden to Tavernier, who shoots into a crowd, might bounce back over to the far side to the Cherries again, but here comes Swansea. Philip Lissa, by the way, the 19-year-old has come on. He's a under 21 product, playing down the right hand side for Swansea, and across comes Christie, and he's fouled by Oliver Cooper, and that will be a free kick to the Cherries right down underneath us.
It'd be nice if we could just get another one just to finish it off. These situations, you know, at half time when the changes get made, it's going to break the game up. You can't quite get the same resolve, but a goal just to finish it off for the fans would be pretty special.
So Cherries, I wonder if young Dom Sadie might get an opportunity. I'm just looking down at the bench actually, and I'm seeing the number 49 for the Cherries starting to be given some instructions by Andoni Iraola. So Dom Sadie about to come on for the Cherries, fresh from a great performance in midweek. Got a couple of cracking goals for the under-21s in the Premier League Cup match. So good to see Dom Sadie get an opportunity very shortly as well. The 20-year-old who does have a couple of substitute appearances in the EFL Cup to his name, but this will be his FA Cup debut for the Cherries. About to come on the field, the 20-year-old attacking player. Bournemouth have got it over on the far side at the moment. Tavernier just over the halfway line. And now Cherries are chasing hard, still at 5-0 up, closing down. Those with fresh legs coming on, looking to keep that work rate up. We'll try and get some reaction on air if we can before we leave you this evening. But as ever in midweek evenings, it can be a bit tight. It'll all be on our Twitter at Solent Sports. You can listen via BBC Sounds as well. Just search for the latest AFC Bournemouth content. Here comes Swansea. They've shrugged Bournemouth off the ball down the left-hand side. Pulled back by Yates, looking for the run of Balassi, who's driven out to the left side of the penalty. Bournemouth very quickly got 8 red shirts back there, and then a foul by Alex Scott on the edge of the box, and a bit of an unnecessary coming together with Jamie Patterson, and a yellow card for Alex Scott.
Yeah, he just nutted him, didn't he? Through his legs. No need to react at this stage, though.
Well, those two know each other from Bristol City. Jamie Patterson and Alex Scott, opposite ends of their career. And a free kick to Swansea, left of centre. It's about 25 yards out, maybe a bit further. Matt Grimes is there. I think Patterson has stayed involved as well, looking to convert the free kick that he's won. Mark Travers lining up his wall. 11 minutes left, BBC Radio Solent, 5-0 in the Cherries' favour. No addition to the score since half-time. All I've written down really in terms of notable things are 3 Swansea bookings in the second half, as well as a couple of Cherries half chances.
Yeah, it does tend to happen, doesn't it? All the sting goes out of it because the games won't keep trying to do the right things, but it doesn't always come off.
So Swansea lining up this free kick. Patterson with his right foot. Again, he's got his captain as the other option there. The natural side favours the right foot of Patterson as this is left of centre. Patterson runs away. Grimes it is, chips it in. Humphreys is in there, wins the first header. Patterson continues the run, and Mark Travers, as the ball came across, pounces on it in the 6-yard box.
Done nothing wrong, Traz. Liked his performance. Hasn't had much to do, but what he has done is dealt with quality.
Yeah, and again, the type of night where it can be tricky for keepers with wind and rain swirling around, but he's held on to everything pretty well. Kirke's down the left side. Dom Sadie is stripped and ready for action. The Cherries youngster on this near side, as Cooper breaks away on this touchline, the right for Swansea, but gives it away.
Yeah, I always love seeing the youngsters get on.
Well, it's been a very gentle return to action for Marcos Senesi, who of course was suspended for Liverpool and hasn't played since the QPR game at the start of the month. It's an ideal way for him to come back into the team this evening.
Got him.
Long diagonal to the left hand side if Sinistera can get that under control, which he couldn't quite. That was a lovely knock again from the right hand side. And out of play, it's going to go, is it? No, it just stays in down underneath us. Sadie can't quite get on yet.
So it's this end side of the pitch, isn't it? I think there must be a rim.
I think there's a force field.
There's something that won't let it go off.
Zabani fires it out to the far side. Swansea fans on the far side are oohing and ahhing. Bournemouth fans asking for a song from the Cherry supporters. But again, it's been a little 1-2 down the far touchline between Scott and Tavernier. Tavernier will get there. There's 3 in the box. If he can get it onto his left and deliver across, he might use Scott instead. Instead, Tavernier goes 40 yards backwards to Lewis Cook. There's a time under Scott Parker, that would have got booed. Lewis Cook down the right side of the box. Scott is onside. Can he get there and deliver the ball? He tried to check it back onto his left, but in doing so, he slipped over and the ball just dribbled over the goal line. And it's going to be a change for the Cherries with Scott coming off. That's his last contribution. And Dom Sadie coming on.
Yeah. Good performance by Scotty. Building on his fitness plan. Coming back, should be nearly there by now.
And again in that number 10 role, Willow, it might not be where the Cherries necessarily thought he might play, but
yeah,
has he given Andoni Iraola a selection question for West Ham?
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, Christie and Cook are there to stay, no doubt about that. But it's who grabs that other spot, isn't it? Clive or Scott?
Alex Scott goes off with a goal to his name, his second Cherries goal after scoring at Tottenham. And on comes Dom Sadie to play, I think, in that number 10 role, just off Kiefer Moore. Goal kick to Swansea, 8 minutes remaining at Solent Sport for your verdict on the evening. And with James Hill going off injured, that is the one negative of the evening for the Cherries, that he landed very awkwardly over on the far side. The very similar area to the pitch in which Max Aarons pulled up the other day, over on the far side. So Hill becoming the Cherries' latest right back injury problem, just returning to the club on loan from Blackburn. Out to the far side, he lost it for Blackburn against Swansea at home earlier in the season as well, so he's not enjoyed games against Swansea that much, James Hill.
Shame, he's doing really well.
Yeah, let's hope it's just one of those that might settle down quickly.
Yeah,
but
the fact that he was walking, that's always but pleasing.
Of course, the ball over on the right hand side. We'll come back to that in a second because Lewis Cook has found Tavernier. Moore's free in the middle. If Tavernier can get his head up, might go himself. It runs loose in the penalty. Dom Sadie shoots, deflected, loops up in the box. Christie, I think, pushed the defender. No, he didn't. Play continues. Left side, Sinistera for the Cherries. Still has it. He's got Kirkes in support. Kirkes chips it in. That will land in the goalkeeper's hands, or he patted it down. Second attempt. Just for a second, Dom Sadie had a glimmer there, Willow.
Yeah, he did. Would have been a great start for the youngster. First touch, I think.
Yep, looking for his first Cherries goal, Dom Sadie, and it's cleared away long down the field by Fisher. Well, if you look, I'll come back to that in a second again because Jerry Yates has it. He's lost it. Ryan Christie inside the Bournemouth half just wins it very easily, then overrun by the substitute for Swansea, Philip Lisser. But Swansea have it back at the heart of their defence once again. Out to the far side it goes. BBC Radio Solent and BBC Sounds will have commentary of Watford against Southampton on Sunday afternoon on BBC Radio Solent. Portsmouth are away at Port Vale as well on Saturday. That one is live with us on Saturday in League One. A couple of Saturdays in a row. Pompey have had a decent enough trip up the M6. Of course, the best of the non-league action on BBC Radio Solent as well. All of that coming up over this extended weekend. But the Cherries kicking off the FA Cup in style here with this performance. The first tie of the round. A handful of ties tomorrow night, as we said, as Senesi plays one forward looking for Sadie. But lost by the Cherries in midfield. Then Grimes just takes a missed touch. Kilkenny got a foot in and won it back. And here goes Lewis Cook. And then Kiefer Moore played through inside right. Looks up at the middle. What's he got in the middle? He's got Sinister at the back post. He's also got support from Tavernier. Gets it onto his left. Deflected. Flashes across goal past Sinister for a corner.
Oh, I think it was a white sock that it hit to go out for the corner. Looked like he just killed it in at that far post, but Cookie going over to take a corner now.
They don't take out swingers, so it had to be a right footer coming over. Lewis Cook over from right back, where he's been playing most of this second half since James Hill's departure with injury. Last 5 minutes on the BBC. Over to our left-hand side. Lewis Cook in front of the North stand will take this one. Right underneath the crossbar, and the glancing header from Moore flashes across the goal and past the right-hand post.
What a pass in, though. What a corner. That wasn't crossed by a hurricane again. Kiefer just... Well, he'll be so disappointed. Usually you only have to... If it hits your head, it's in. When it's on that near post.
Shades of QPR, Willow, wasn't it? When he scored at QPR, pretty much the similar one.
Yeah.
Near post flick. That was very close. We got a great facial shot of Marcos Senesi there, who his facial expressions, he couldn't believe that hadn't gone in. Wide-eyed as the ball skipped past the post. Andy Fisher, the goalkeeper. 4 minutes remaining. Again, attracting the attention of the North stand behind him. And the ball on the halfway line again with Lissa forward towards his fellow sub Cooper for Swansea over halfway, but Ryan Christie just an under hit slightly back pass to Travers, but the goalkeeper was alert and the Republic of Ireland international came out and cleared it down the field left footed, and Kiefer Moore is shrugged off Nathan Wood. He's on his own at the moment. Moore, he's got Sinistera sideways, he's got Kirkes. All this started from Mark Travers' alertness at the other end. Moore's done well to hold that up, the little nutmeg to find Kirkes, edge of the area. Kirkes to Sinistera, got a bit lucky. Sinistera around the outside, pulls it back towards the near post. Sadie was in there, that was blocked. Sadie still has it, the ball's in play, left side of the box. Sinistera, Cherry's hunting for a sixth, comes back to Kirkes, looks for the left-footed shot, and wide of the left-hand post in the end for the Hungarian.
Just couldn't get it out, Swansea. The ball must have been in that 6-yard pass for 30 seconds.
It's got to be David Brooks the man of the match, isn't it?
Landscaping, number 7, David Brooks.
Had to be, absolutely had to be.
Some good performances. Cookie, I think, deserves a mention. Christie again.
Yeah, again, Ryan Christie is, again, in the grand scheme of things, he'll have found this, I think, one of his less challenging games, but he's just had a total authority in there, isn't he? Ryan Christie run them, and Lewis Cook was the same until he got shifted to right back.
Yeah.
I wonder, somebody somewhere will have a record of how many different back fours Bournemouth have played this season, but Kirkes, Senesi, Zabani and Cook has got to be a new one, as Kelly, Senesi, Zabani and Hill was at the start of the game.
Yeah, he's gone down there.
Grimes is down for Swansea now in midfield, and actually the referee is stopping the play with the Swansea captain down. Marcos Senesi comes across to inquire what's up with Grimes. On come the Swansea physios in their red rain jackets. And we have 2 minutes remaining of the 90, Willow. 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a great evening. I mean, second half just quieting down a bit, but you know, some of the football we played in the first half are absolutely exceptional, and the goals, great goals to score as well. You know, an awful lot of one-touch passing, especially for Brooks's goal. Makes all the difference to watching a football match.
So Grimes just getting some treatment here. There would be a worry for Swansea, I think, if he had a problem. Long-time linchpin of their midfield, but he's just being helped up. But I'll say helped up, but also walking
He's limping.
Yeah, not particularly easily towards the near side. Of course, having retrieved treatment, he does have to come off for his.
There's no point in him going back on. Just for they got a sub left.
Let's have a look. How many have they made? Swansea. They've brought on Patterson. They've brought on Balassi, Cooper, Lissa. They have got one left. Yeah.
There's no point in going back on. The game's over, isn't it?
You know? He is going to defy you, Willow, and he is going to come back on. So the ball is back with the keeper, who gets it as a drop ball from the goalkeeper, from the referee, after he had initially kicked it out before the whistle had gone. Good evening to my broadcasting colleague Tim Hutchings, by the way, who was trying to tell me that Rhonda was pronounced Rhonda when we were struggling with Nathan Jones's birthplace earlier on, as Kirkes is back towards his own byline, and Kirkes wins one of those free kicks that regular listeners will know we talk about a lot, when someone's facing their own byline under pressure and just falls over and gets a free kick.
You talk about it a lot.
Happens so much, that's why. Grimes is back on. He's completed his 30 seconds off the field, and we are 15 seconds away from...
Big switch from Cookie here. Watch this. There he goes.
Looks
Boom.
up and sees Sinistera in a couple of hectares of wide open space on this near side, given away by Lissa, the substitute for Swansea. Now down the left-hand side, Sinistera is going to take him on. And the referee, there's no added time at the end of the game. How many times do you see that?
What happened there?
It's all over. 5-0. It's finished, and the Cherries have got the job done. Well, they've probably got it done after 14 minutes, to be honest, when they were 3-0 up. Goals early on from Lloyd Kelly, just the third one he scored in over 4 years. Alex Scott made it 2-0 on 10 minutes. Both of those were set up by David Brooks. Luis Sinistera 3-0 on 14 minutes. Solanke laid on Brooks for the fourth on 35. And then it was Sinistera in the assist column as Solanke made it 5. The one negative for the Cherries was an injury to James Hill, who's only just come back off loan from Blackburn. The Cherries have a host of right-backs injured. James Hill adding to that list. But all in all, John Williams, I mean, as a contest, it was over after 15 minutes, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, total dominance, some really good football, really good fast football, and Swansea didn't even get a chance to get out of the blocks. But, you know, one of these performances has been coming for quite a while. We've had disappointing results in the Premier League, but this tonight just showed what this team's capable of if you're not really at it. And in all credit to Swansea, they tried to keep playing the same way, but you can't do that when teams are pulling you apart, and it could have been 6 really.
We will catch up with the Cherries camp very shortly. We'll try and bring that to you if we can before we go off the air. It'll be at Solent Sport and on BBC Sounds as well if we can't. The Cherries players are thanking their supporters, and the Swansea players also going over to the far side, where the Swansea fans, to their credit, are walked down to the front and mostly are clapping. The Swansea players aren't getting too much from their fans over there, because they've got to realise they've been up against one of the Premier League's recent informed teams as well. Swansea, a team in transition, just trying to find their way again at the moment, but they were absolutely outclassed this evening. It's finished 5-0 to the Cherries. They are in to Sunday's FA Cup 5th round draw. Don't forget that 5th round is a midweek round as well, a bit like this one has been as well. Full time here at the Vitality to kick off the FA Cup 4th round. It's the Cherries by 5-0.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
And here is how Bournemouth booked their place in the 5th round of the FA Cup. All the goals, 5 of them in the first half.
The Cherries spin off in different directions. It comes in from Brooks. Stealing round the back is Lloyd Kelly, who slides it in. What a finish from Kelly. Snuck in unseen at the back post to hammer it with his left foot into the roof of the net. And the Cherries strike early with the first goal of the Emirates FA Cup 4th round, 1-0. Brooks down the right-hand side, getting away from Humphreys easily. David Brooks tees it up, and Alex Scott makes it 2. 2 assists for David Brooks. What a first 10 minutes for him. Teed up Scott, who couldn't miss inside the 6-yard box. And forget about those terrible first halves in cup competitions this season. Bournemouth have started this one on fire. Ball clearance by Fisher, and here's Sinistera in on his right foot. He shoots low, and that is 3-0. The velvet bag looms for the Cherries for round 5 after only 14 minutes. Disaster for the keeper Fisher this time. Terrible clearance. Sinistera strokes it home. It's Bournemouth 3, Swansea 0. And David Brooks is away, put in by Dom Solanke. David Brooks really does deserve a goal, and David Brooks has a goal. It is 4-0 to Bournemouth. Brooks, looking to justify his place in the team, has 2 assists, now strokes it into the bottom left-hand corner, and Bournemouth are out of sight here inside the first half. Into the left-hand side, and again, it's just completely overwhelming Swansea. Sinistera, square for Dom Solanke. It's 5-0 inside the first half. It is embarrassingly easy for Bournemouth. And at the heart of this club, of course, is family. And at the moment of a high, Dom Solanke chooses to remember The mother of Jayden Anthony, Donna, who tragically passed away unexpectedly earlier on this week. He removes his jersey, has RIP Donna on his black top. But the Cherries here, a clinical first half.
Bet you enjoyed that one, Cherries fans. Ball number 3 for Sunday's 5th round draw. That'll be around 2 o'clock. We'll be on the air on BBC Radio Solent at that time with live coverage of Saints game away at Watford in the 4th round. And in terms of a date for your diary, the 5th round, that is due to be played midweek, as Chris Temple was telling you, commencing 26th of February, if you want to clear the diary in preparation for that. Difficult really to speculate about who you want at this stage with all the rest of the ties still to come. I'm guessing it's a home tie against one of the lower Football League sides still left in the competition. You can get in touch and talk to me about your hopes for a cup run this season. Talk about that performance. What about David Brooks as well? Player of the match tonight, 2 assists and a goal. At Solent Sport is where you can send your messages. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word. 81333 on the text. Again, start those with Solent, and don't forget they'll be charged at your standard network rate. Thank you if you've been in touch already this evening. Lots of you in touch to reminisce about Bournemouth's 11-0 win over Margate. The last time they were 5-0 up at half-time. Of course, on that occasion going on to smash 6 more in the second half. We'll read some more of those messages out between now and 10 o'clock. The thoughts of John Williams on the way. Reaction, if we can get it to you in time, with Andoni Iraola and hopefully a Bournemouth player too. And coming up next, we're going to bring you right up to speed with that serious incident in Bournemouth Town Centre earlier on this afternoon. We're going to keep it right across it tonight on BBC Radio Solent. More to come next. You're listening to the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent